Sorry, I'm muted. Hi, 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 hi. How are you all doing today? Sorry, I just rushed in. I was almost late. In fact, I am late. I am late. I am, how many minutes late now? That's 3 minutes late. Sorry, guys. Sorry about that. Hello, hello, everyone. Sorry, I'm putting on my wristwatch. That's why I can't click on your messages because this is a late Frank today. That's what you guys are witnessing. Late Frank. Frank that is here to put on his wristwatch. I don't even know why I put on this wristwatch whenever I'm going live. Not like, okay, yeah, I do sometimes. I do use it to check out the time to see what time it is. Forgetting that there is time on my screen. Very old fashioned. You look at you look at your wristwatch instead. How are you guys? I can see um little little old me or old me spelled with a W. I can see Jazz. I can see Nate P. I can see Bobby Diggs. I can see Shayna Zion. I can see a lot of you. I can see a lot of you. How are you guys? How are you guys? How are you guys? How was your day? Bobby Diggs, I love you too. I even though I don't know you, but I love you too. Let me not be like what's her name? I don't know if you guys know this musician. What's her name? What's her name? She's a rapper. She's a rapper. What's her name? Doja Cat. Yeah, Doja Cat. So one of her fans told her that they love her, and she said, "I don't love you because I don't even know you." You know, and they almost canceled her for saying that. They're like, "How dare Doja Cat not love us?" Well, yeah, I love you guys. I love you guys. You guys are the best. I have the best cult. We are building a cult here. If you know you are part of and we are proud of it, and we are proud of that gang. We are building a cult here. Guys, we are just 38 live, so you can hit that like button, hit it, smash it, destroy the like button so people can know that we are here. And you can share this link so other people will know that we are here. Uh all right. I've put on my African charm, so we are ready. Uh hey, this is Bobby Dix again saying, I love your channel. Keep up the good work. Yes, I will. I will. This is DF saying, I'm totally in the Frank cult. Yes, that is the right cult to be. It is cool these days to join a cult. Uh, so why not join the Frank cult, the honest cult? That's what we do here, the free cult. Whatever your interpretation definition of Frank, that is the cult we are in. We are in the and we are proud of that cult. This is so when your name has all this what is it called in Yoruba on top? I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm in Oshu State, honey farming. Are you serious? But you have a white picture in your profile picture. I'm wondering, are you a native of Oshu State, or tell us a little more about that. Yeah, Nate P said, I hit the like button on my phone and computer. Yeah, hit it on everything right now. See, we are at 50. We have 50 people are with us right now. If you keep hitting it, we are going to get to 1,000. So thank you, Nate P, and every other person. Hit it. Comment, even if you want to tell me about how the sky is blue. You could put that in the comment. We are here to receive every form of comment right now. King of Current said, "I know she stayed with a Vietnamese name." Well, it happens. It happens. It happens. People from Vietnam can come to Nigeria. They can always come to Nigeria. This country is open. And this is from Jazz. Jazz, how are you? How is South Africa? She said, Islamophobes unite, and we are proud of that. Yeah, that's what we are doing here. We are bringing all the Islamophobes together. We're trying to spread that loving, kind, tolerant Islamophobia, okay? The right kind, the kind that is necessary for the continuation of human civilization, okay? The level of civilization we've acquired thus far. To keep it going, we need a little touch of Islamophobia. DS said France stands for free and relevant ancestral Nigerian knowledge. I like that. Let me write it down. I need to do something with that. Wow. That's brilliant. That's brilliant. Let me keep it on my note. Oh, sorry, I opened the wrong app. Let me keep it on my note tab. I'm trying to put it on my note tab on my phone. Free and relevant ancestral Nigerian knowledge. That's deep. That is profound. Okay, free and relevant. If you guys have more interesting stuff like this to say to post on the chat, by all means, please do. I am off for stealing so many things. I'm like a Palestinian right now. I'm ready to steal a lot of things. Knowledge. All right. Let's see. We'll do something with this. We'll do something. Let me quote you, sir. Just for let me put reference. DF. Yeah. Welcome to the amateur live stream. That's what we do here. We chat, we type on our phone while we are live. All right. Yeah, it's just telling us to do the necessary. Hit that thumbs up button. It helps with the algorithm, recommends the channel to more people, recommend this live stream to more people. So just smash it. Whenever you're not chatting, it's free. You can just keep tapping it. Just like people who do that tap stuff that they do in Nigeria when they want to do something for crypto, whatever. Just keep tapping it. Tap that like button. Tap the Islamophobia out of that like that like button. This is Christine X watching X, not X. Watching from Canada. How are you? How is Canada? This is another name that I shouldn't dare to pronounce. Mr. Frank, we love you from South Africa. Let's fight the peace and loving cult called Islam. Yeah. Why are we fighting the peace? We shouldn't. This is not me fighting the peace. This is me promoting it, promoting it by way of making the world, aware of the wonderful things you are sure to see and find, from this very peaceful and, loving community, Yeah. So that's what we do here. This name, I want to pronounce this name, but because we've read I've read your comment, and now I want to be able to pronounce your name very well, and I can't. She said, I'm Irish with an Irish passport and Nigerian visa, and it's an Irish name. It's not a Vietnamese name, okay? King of Current, you are wrong. It's not a Vietnamese name. I don't even know how to identify any of these names. So then you told me that is okay. I go with it. But I believe it should be Irish. It shouldn't be Vietnamese. And it is indeed Irish, not Vietnamese. And she's in Nigeria here as on an Irish whatever it is called. She migrated here. And I'm very sure Oshu State is treating you very well. I hope they are not being I think this is King of Current apologizing for jumping into conclusion. That's not what we do here, okay? You have just been fact checked. Okay? Don't do that again. This is Chad from Cape Town, South Africa. You're on fire, dude. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm on fire, literally. Whenever the sun comes out in Nigeria, I'm literally on fire. You guys have no idea how on fire I am whenever the sun comes out. Yeah. All right, what are we talking about today? Today we are going to be talking about child marriage in the Middle East. But before we get to child marriage in the Middle East, a lot of people have questions. Bring those comments, those questions coming up. Let us use this to buy ourselves time and see if we can get more people on the live stream. Right now it is 56. Let's see if we can get more than 56. Let's see if we can get close to 100 or over that. I said, do you speak Igbo? I recently came across the Idembe script project. It looks very interesting, but I don't know Igbo. I don't know Igbo myself. Why does your Igbo have whatever it is that it has there? Is that what it's supposed to have? Believe me, I've not spelled Igbo like that ever in my life. Okay, yeah, I speak Igbo. I'm an Igbo person. Well, not fluently. Let me put it. I need to prefix that. Like, I don't speak it fluently because I don't know, for some reason best known to myself, I decided not to learn how to speak my local language very well. This is George. George said, hi, my brother from South Africa. Let's expose this cult called Islam. Exactly. Expose looks like they are doing something bad. It's peace and love. So what we are doing is explore. We are exploring, promoting, creating awareness. Let the whole world see the awesomeness that is the culture that, Islam has created and, is, endorsing essentially. That's what we are doing here. This is Ajuk Ali. I hope I pronounced your name correctly. Say all love from the United States. Yeah, much love to you, my brother. Let me check something. Guys, I'm about to change my internet connection from the one I'm using currently to another connection. So you might notice a little uh what is going on. You might notice a little slight glitch. Don't worry, it's just me changing from one internet connection to another. Like I predicted. Yeah, that is done. I hope I did not give you people any meme. I hope I didn't create any meme as I was trying to transition change from one internet connection to another. Yeah. Christine X is asking, is it a phobia or just the truth? That's how we interpret it over here. Phobia these days is now you just being scared or aware of something or wary of something for the right reasons, for all the true reasons. Okay. Yeah, and Ajak just said, welcome to peace. Yeah, welcome, 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 welcome to peace. Religion of peace. I think you spelled it wrongly, King of Current. You're doing it again. A piece of you here, a piece of you there, a piece of you everywhere. Okay, that's what Islam is about. This is from Fabo Yode saying, Frank, the other time you were with Rebecca, she said that the divinity of Jesus is dangerous, but you may have forgotten that Jesus is God and God's plan is always. I'll be honest with you. It's not. It's speaking with somebody who is Jewish and who say certain things regarding what Jewish belief is. It's kind of sometimes I don't really. I'll be honest with you. I don't really like. I'm not sure if I respond accurately, or sometimes it may come off like I am more trying to be less disagreeable and just don't want to dive into a topic that is how will I put it, that is way out of my depth, something I don't know so much about. So how do I push back? How do I push back? The thoughts keep coming up in my head, and I think the best thing to do is to just avoid the subject, and that's kind of how I've been writing it. That's how I've been rolling with Rebecca. Just avoid the subject, and she's a very great expert in bringing it up and bringing it up and bringing it up. So yeah, definitely, I do not agree with her that the divinity of Jesus is a dangerous thing. She thinks that for somebody to declare themselves to be divine, to be without sin. Of course, probably for her, although I don't really understand her reason for that, but I'm very sure it has to do with the fact that she's of a different faith. So it's bound to happen. You're bound to have that kind of different, views that are in stark opposition with yours. But of course, if you know me, I don't believe that. I strongly believe that Christ is divine and his divinity has not led to anything dangerous. Or quite the contrary, it has changed most of the world and brought us to, in a way, contributed to where we are today when it comes to human flourishing and development, and has given so many people hope, and has given so many people, has brought light and beauty and blessing to so many people's life. It has reconnected them back to their creator and has given them hope in the hereafter. As our lives, one of the things that I that's about Christianity that gives me so much joy is that it makes your life meaningful, right? I always say, like, if I don't have Christ in my life, what is the meaning of life? It doesn't mean anything. And in Christ, I see meaning, and I don't see his claim to divinity as dangerous. I don't see it as dangerous at all. But that is not what we are talking about today. Okay, that is not what we're talking about today. And this is Ryan Paris saying, I understand, Frank, hindsight 2020 and rabbinic Jews. I thought that we think the Jews committed decide kill God. I'm very sure you wrote it that way, because if you had wrote it the other way, maybe you'll not be allowed to post the comment. But I understand what you are saying. This is Gift Animals Give Us. Hello, Frank and chat. Hello to you too. I hope you're having a wonderful day. This is me interacting with my chat. For a moment, I've forgotten that I'm supposed to be talking about something else, but I'm enjoying this. Are you guys enjoying it? Are you guys enjoying the fact that I'm engaging with you all? Is it wonderful? Is it lovely? Uh, this is from Spizno Lins. He said, it's insulting how child marriages still exist for culture, for cultural and religious reasons, and the media just talk about it because, and the media don't talk about it, just don't talk about it because it's Islam. Let me read it again. It's insulting how child marriage still exists for cultural and religious reasons, and the media just don't talk about it because it's Islam. Well, they do talk about it. Okay, this is one thing I've noticed about so many issues. Right, there are a couple of issues that we accuse the media of not covering, but the truth is they cover it, but it doesn't become mainstream conversations. Like, and I don't know if it is the media's fault that it is not mainstream conversation, or maybe it is the fact that some people just don't care. Like, yeah, we blame the media for a lot of things, and rightfully so. But sometimes we need to ask ourselves: do people really care? Do people really care? I mean, the information is out there. Some of the videos I'm going to be reacting to are videos that are and documentaries made by the mainstream media, from CNN, BBC, DW, you name it, even Al Jazeera, that's like the mouthpiece of every Islamist government, make videos about child marriage, but people don't care. People just don't care. Hopefully people who are here, they care about stuff like this, and that's why we're here to talk about it. Another thing is, whenever they talk about it, which is something that I will not let it slide, is that whenever the media talks about child marriage, which we are going to see in some of the videos we are going to react to about child marriage in the Middle East, you see that they try their best to not make it an Islamic thing. Okay, and I guess the reason why is because, of course, like you stated in your message, they do not want to offend Muslims. So that's kind of what you know. Someone said, why are Muslim pedophiles so protected and worshipped? They have one that is worshipped. They have many that are protected. One is worshipped, many are protected. Now, Muslims will say, no, we don't worship Muhammad, but man, they even pray to the guy. I don't know if you guys are aware. They low-key pray to Muhammad. This is from no. Nate P, I'll get to your comment, but before that, Fabio they said Frank, is Al Jazeera unreliable? Well, mostly, there's this thing about having unreliable media. Like, I think most of media is unreliable, but it does not mean they are always unreliable. Somewhere there's always a nugget of truth in what they are reporting, even though, of course, they have an angle and they have a bias that is just apparent. You can always see the bias sometimes. I think the more you consume the media, knowing how biased they can be, the more you notice just where the bias is. There's something they will say and you'll be like, okay, this is their bias showing. Okay, so, but is it like everything they say should not be trusted? Do not read the news. No, there's something that what is his name? What's the name of this actor? I keep forgetting people's names. What is happening today? What's his name? He's a black actor. He said, if you listen to the news, you are misinformed. If you don't listen to the news, you are uninformed. So I've forgotten the name of the actor. If you guys know, just remind me in the comments. He said, if you listen to the news, you are misinformed. If you don't listen to the news, you are uninformed. So yes, you might be misinformed by the news, but if you don't listen to the news, you'll be uninformed. So to be informed, you have to take that misinformation, couple all of them together, and find within it something that is indeed the truth. So yeah, I'm not saying have a blind trust for the media, but it doesn't mean you shouldn't for mainstream media, but it doesn't mean you shouldn't look at what they are reporting and that they are always, Denzel Washington. Thank you. Denzel Washington is the person who made that quote. So yeah, it was Denzel Washington. Exactly. So yeah, just be careful with the media. Even Al Jazeera, be careful with them. Don't just take everything they say as gospel. Always be critical. Always look further into what they're saying. Read more than one article about any news story. Read more than one. If you see a news article and you're interested about what is being said, read more than. The problem with people, and when they talk about how media is misinforming the masses, that majority of people who consume mainstream media articles, many of them just stop at the headlines. Like, many people who read the news or who are like, oh, I saw something in the news, they like, or they read it, or they read something in the news, they just stopped at the headline. Maybe they saw a headline on Twitter, or they saw something on Instagram, whatever it is. That's all they saw. They didn't go beyond that. Okay, so many times when you read the detail of what is read the news article to the end, you will notice that there are other information that have been provided, and people just stop at the headline. And the headlines are often just like clickbait. And if you go just by clickbait, many of the things you get out of it will not be, complete. The devil is always in the details, right? So yeah, that's that's it. Kelly London said Mark Twain. It's not Mark Twain. It's not Mark Twain. It's Abraham Lincoln. Or Abraham Lincoln. Let me say it the way Americans say it. Abraham Lincoln. Judge said my news is on YouTube, not TV. Yeah, most of what we consume are no longer on TV. I mean, mainstream traditional media is almost dead. It's almost dead. Also, thank you, King of Current, for the 5 gifted Nigerian perspective membership. Really appreciate that. Again, let me use this opportunity to tell you guys, please, loose change. Money you don't plan to use for anything, or if you really want to, support the ministry, take it to the permanent sites, like Nigerians will say. Take our ministry to the permanent sites. You can please, send the money to me. Send all that money. Okay. I'm here. I'm not even here to talk about the news or to talk about. I'm here to just collect your money. That's when I saw that my money is going low. I was like, let me go live. Let me go live so I can get these people's money. So please don't disappoint me. Okay. Send me that money. Yeah, 22 minutes spent doing introduction. Now we have 70 people watching, 72 now watching us. Hopefully more will join us as we move on. So yeah, first of all, I'm going to give you guys a quick breakdown of what the Quran says about child marriage. When I was thinking about how I'm going to, start off this live stream, I wanted to first of all and I know so many of you are aware of this, but it's important that I repeat these things again. It will not be grievous to repeat again to you these things, right? So the first thing you need to understand about child marriage when it has to do with Islam, okay, the first place you have to look at is the Quran, right? And one thing you should know is that the Quran actually doesn't directly, the word is directly, emphasis on directly, does not directly and expressly say you can marry a child. There was the last live stream I was doing, or one of those live streams I was doing, and I had someone in the comments say, the person in the comments said, is there any place in the Quran where it is written Muslims you can marry a child, or you can marry children, underage children or prepubescent children? Now, there is no such explicit express command or express permission given for that. You will not find any Quran verse that say, oh, messenger of Allah, tell the people to marry children, or tell the people that they can marry children. And why that is important is important to state that is in the Quran, there are many instructions given about people you should marry. Okay. For example, let me see. There's a verse here I want to. For example, if you look at let me bring the verse and share my screen so you guys can see it. Give me a moment. Kainat is asking, what's your response to Jews unalived Jesus? Jewish leaders. Okay, people make it look like the Jews collectively came together, all of them, like the people who we are mourning Jesus, we are not Jews as well. Or like the disciples and many people who we are downcast and down and felt depressed due to the death of Jesus. We are not Jews themselves. They were Jews. Many Jews, a good number of Jews, we are not happy about the fact that Jesus himself died. Many of them, we are not even aware of his death. Okay, it's not like all Jews, or there was a majority consensus that yes, we took a vote and 70% of the country or 70% of the community said kill Jesus. That's not what happened. Okay, the Jewish leaders, connived together because they felt Jesus had committed a serious act of blasphemy, and then collaborated with the government of the day, which was like the Roman government, and said, look, this person is calling himself king of the Jews, and this is something that is treasonous. So kill this person. So that was kind of how it happened. It's not like all the Jews came together and did that. So yeah, Jewish leaders at the time came together in Jerusalem and planned this. That was what it was. Also, the Roman government were the ones that executed it. The Jewish people conspired, the Roman government executed it. That's what happened. So yes, in a way, the Jewish leaders killed Jesus. If when people say Jews killed Jesus, if that is what they mean by, if that's what they are trying to say, it is not a problem. But you know what they are trying to say whenever they say Jews killed Jesus. They're trying to make it look like they're trying to transfer guilt on Jews living, today. Like, yeah, they are the ones. No, they are not the ones who killed Jesus. Okay. So that is my response to that. Let me respond to another super chat before I move on. Alidawa's grapes. They check out the adventures of Shake It Off. Okay, we will. We will. One of these days. I just said the first and last thing you need to discuss about child labor is that it is wrong and nothing to be proud of. Okay. First and last thing, it is wrong and it is nothing to be proud of. Nothing to be proud of. I should state it expressly. Child marriage is wrong and it is nothing to be proud of. Okay? And we are proud of that. By the way. All right, let me continue with what I was talking about. Yeah, this is Nate P said the Jews were also his 12 disciples. Exactly. The Jews were he's the first converts. When you read in the book of Acts that the disciples, 70 of them, we are on the upper room, or we are in the upper room. Those 70, every single one of them, we are Jews. Okay? And when those 70 preached and 5,000 were converted, those 5,000, all of them Jews. Okay? It's not like so Jews were the early Christians. The early Christians were Jews. Okay, it's important to note that is the way people make it look like Jews did the Jews did. I'm like, okay, not all of them. Okay, Jews are not a monolith. It's not like all of them conspired together. Okay. All right, let me read this. Okay, what I was trying to establish with this Quran verse is that in the Quran you find express declaration of whom you can marry. Okay, you find express declarations like that. Okay, and that the endorsement of child marriage is not expressly stated like the other express endorsement of other forms of marriage that you find in the Quran. For example, you have Quran 33 verse 50 that says, "O prophet, lo, we have made lawful unto thee thy wives, unto whom thou hast paid their dowries, and those whom thy right hand possess, of those whom Allah has given thee as spoils of war." So now Allah is saying, as Muhammad, you have it is lawful for you to sleep with your wives. It is lawful for you to whom you have paid their dowries. It is lawful for you to sleep with the people whom your right hand possess. Anyone that your right hand possess that are females, it is lawful for you to have them, right? Slaves, essentially. And also another which other woman is lawful for Muhammad? And the daughters of thy uncles on the father's side, and the daughters of thy aunts on the father's side, and the daughters of thy uncles uncle on the mother's side, and the daughters of thy aunt on the mother's side, who emigrate with thee, and a believing woman, if she gives herself unto the prophet, and the prophet desires to ask her in marriage. Okay? A privilege for thee only, not for the rest of believers. We are aware of that which we enjoin upon thee concerning their wives, and those whom their right hand possesses, that thou mayest be free from blame, for Allah is ever forgiving and merciful. Now, it should be noted that when he said for thee only and not for the rest of believers, it does not mean everything listed here, but actually talking about the fact that only Muhammad can have more than 4 women, not multiple, more than 4 women. That's what this for a privilege for thee only, not for the rest of believers means, right? Only Muhammad can have more than 4. That's what this verse is about, or what this phrase here is about. But the rest of what is listed here applies to every Muslim. A Muslim can marry their cousin, the child of their aunt, the child of their aunt from the mother's side, from the paternal or maternal. You can marry your cousin. And why can you marry your cousin? Why is cousin marriage allowed? Because this is an express declaration. You can marry your cousin. Okay. But so cousin marriage, for example, it's not like something you debate as much as you debate child marriage, right? Because I mean, look at this Quran verse. It expressly states that. Okay. Another thing you should notice that there's also a verses of the Quran. Okay, before we go there, you need to know that you people know about Zainab bint Jash, right? I hope I'm pronouncing Zainab, one of the wives of Muhammad, the one who was married to Muhammad's former adopted son, Zaid. Right? Zainab, another thing people don't know about Zainab is that Zainab is a cousin of Muhammad. So Zainab is also, so Muhammad also practiced cousin marriage. Just I think it's one fact that I think I should just put out there so you guys know. All right, so you can see this is an example of marriage that is mentioned in the Quran. Another thing you should also note is that in the Quran there are also people you cannot marry. Okay, it is listed in the Quran, people that a Muslim man cannot marry. Okay, or right, this is what this, yeah. Men are in charge of, I hope I've not gotten the, I think I've gotten the wrong the wrong Quran verse. Let me be sure, because I don't think this is it. Because this looks like the Quran verse that has to do with wife beating. Yeah, this is the Quran verse that has to do with. Let me get the Quran verse that lists women that a Muslim can't marry. Sorry, I made a list of this, and the scripture I have here is the wrong one. Oh, 23, not 30, 34. Sorry, verse 23. My bad. Where do I hit? Previous. Okay, so this are a list of people that, you know, as a Muslim you cannot forbidden unto you are your mothers, your daughters, your sisters, your father's sister, that's your aunt, your mother's sister, your maternal aunt, your brother's daughter, that is your niece, your sister's daughter, that's your maternal, I don't know what to call that one, your niece too, your foster mother, adopted mother, your foster sister. I mean, I don't think this one still applies because later on, you know, adoption is you know, outlawed, and your mother-in-law and your stepdaughters who are under your protection, born of your woman unto whom you have gone in. But if you have gone in unto them, then it is no sin for you to marry their daughters, and the wives of your son who spring from your own loins. And it is forbidden unto you that you should have two sisters together, except that already happened of that nature in the past. Lo, Allah is ever forgiving and merciful. So you can see women that are prohibited for the Muslim man to marry. And another important thing to notice in this list is that you don't see prepubescent girls listed here or children listed here. Also, it is fair to note that all of this has to do with relatives. Relatives you cannot marry. Okay? Relatives you cannot marry. Notice also that in the list of relatives you cannot marry, cousins are not mentioned. So cousins are not prohibited in Islam. Cousins are 100% halal. You can go in and marry your cousins. But you know, your daughter, your aunt, your niece, your nephew, your stepdaughter, except in some exception, the sister of your wife, except in some exceptions. So that's kind of, you know, the provision in the Quran. And it's important that, you know, we state this, that expressly that is not expressly stated. And that there are other big, and why people bring that? Oh, because if you talk to Muslims about it, they'll be like, but the Quran states other form of, you know, the Quran is very detailed. The Quran is very, and it's true. It tells you when to stand up, when to sit down, how to blink, when to sit, when to snore, how to cough, how to this is really detailed. Like it's written by somebody who is a control freak and just wants to control every single aspect of your life. So people will be like, okay, if Allah wants us to marry children, why didn't he just expressly state that? Okay, so that's kind of something that they are going to come up with. Just saying that it's raining. It's interesting that I'm talking about child marriage and we are distracted by rain. I'm happy it's not raining here, and I'm happy for you, just that you finally get to experience cold weather. I thought it has always been cold, but I think it's going to be more cold. Why does God punish cousin marriage with deform? Why does God punish? that is a question for the Islamic God to answer. Okay, that's a question for Allah to answer. Allah knows best. Okay, Allah knows best. That's all I can say about that. Janet Lewis is saying Muslim men can marry any woman from that list who is also of the book, Muslim, Christian, Jews, but Muslim women can only marry Muslim men. Yes. A Muslim man can marry a Jew, a whatever Christian, but a Muslim woman cannot marry outside of Islam. Yep, 100%. Now, so when we are talking about child marriage, is child marriage in the Quran? Yes, it is in the Quran, but it is there indirectly. That's something we need to know. It is not yet directly, but it is there indirectly, and it is there indirectly so much that it is sufficient. The way it is allowed in the Quran is sufficient that it doesn't even need to be expressly stated. You know how Christians know that Jesus is declared himself to be God, even though there's never a Bible verse that say, I am God, worship me, of Jesus saying, I am God, worship me. You know, there's no verse in the Bible like that where Jesus is like, I am God, worship me. But you see how he talks about himself, how he portrays himself, who he says he is. And you can always come to the conclusion that he is God. I mean, remember when one of his Thomas, I think it was Thomas, well, was it Thomas or was it Philip? Is there even a disciple called Philip? No. I think, I'm not sure. But one of the disciples in the book of John asked Jesus, show us the Father and we'll be okay. Right? Said, show us the Father and we'll be okay. And Jesus was like, why will you ask me that? I've been with you so long and you're asking me to. Don't you know that whoever has seen me have seen the Father? Right? You know, these are instances of Jesus, saying, look, I am the Father and the Father is me, And then you talk about the prayer that Jesus had at before he was arrested. These are prayers that show you, okay, I am, you also talk about how he and his Father, or whatever I see my Father doing, that's what I do. So you can take from those statements and say, okay, this person is not saying it directly, but all he's saying is sufficient enough to say, for any reasonable person to come to the conclusion that he's calling himself God. In the same way, what is in the Quran about child marriage is sufficient enough to say, yes, the Quran endorses child marriage. And it's not just me. We'll see as we move forward that it's not just me who has this idea. It is also Muslim scholars. It is a unanimous view amongst majority of the Muslim scholars, both in the past and in the present, that child marriage is 100% halal. There is nothing stopping it. There is nothing that in the Quran that says it is haram or sinful. In fact, the reason why child marriage is still a thing. One of the reasons why child marriage is still a thing in Muslim majority countries. Okay, so the way child marriage is introduced in Islam is through what is called the Iddah period. Now, this is of course in 7th century Arabia. No modern science and modern technology to determine paternity. So the only way you can know who the father of a child is based on the man that has slept with a woman. So if this is the one man who has been sleeping with this woman, then the woman has a child, we can come to the conclusion that he is the father. No other way, right? That's the only way to know the paternity of a child. So because that is the case, certain rules for the Muslims or Allah saw it in his wisdom to put in place certain rules to prevent issues, conflicts regarding the paternity of a child. Okay, and that is what the Iddah is. The Iddah is the waiting period that a woman has to go through were between the end of her previous marriage and the beginning of her next marriage, right? So if a woman is divorced, she doesn't just get remarried immediately and goes to live with her new husband immediately and then the man consummates. No, there's a waiting period required. And the reason for that waiting period is because if it does not exist, then the woman may be pregnant from her previous relationship and then moves into a new relationship with that pregnancy, and we now don't know who is the father of the child. You understand? So you can see the wisdom in that law. That's the wisdom behind it, right? So the first place in the Quran where this is explained, where this is not explained but provided, described, is in Surah 2, verse 228, Surah Al-Baqarah, which says, women who are divorced shall wait, keeping themselves apart, 3 monthly courses, and it is not lawful for them that they should conceal that which Allah has created in their womb, if they are believers in Allah and the last day. And their husband would do better to take them back in that case if they desire a reconciliation. And they, women, have rights similarly to those men over them in kindness, and men are a degree above them. Allah is mighty and wise. I just like how Allah has to mention that men are above the women. Important thing to be to recognize that they are above them, a degree above them. Of course, the Muslim will say this only applies in marriage, but as we see in the Quran, it applies in everything. Maybe this verse is not the verse to use to demonstrate that. But what this verse demonstrates is the Iddah period. You see, women who are divorced shall wait, keeping themselves apart, 3 monthly causes, and it is not lawful for them that they should conceal that which Allah has created in their womb, if they are believers in Allah and the last day. So when a woman is divorced, she's to wait for 3 menstrual cycles. 3 menstrual cycles she's to wait before she can remarry. And if she's pregnant, she should not conceal it. She should not conceal the pregnancy. And if the husband, upon knowing that the wife is pregnant, decides to reconcile back and bring the woman back, he can go ahead and do that within those 3 months. This is what is provided for in Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 228, or ayat 228. Now, this is not the only Iddah that is provided. Okay, another Iddah that is provided is in Surah. Is in Surah 33, verse 49. And it says, "O ye who believe, if you wed believing women and divorce them before you touch them," and by touch them, it means if you divorce a woman before having sexual intercourse with her, penetrative sex, if you divorce her before doing that, then there is no period that you should reckon, but content them and release them handsomely. So what this is saying is, if you marry a woman, you did not consummate the marriage, there was no sexual penetration, nothing happened, you didn't touch her, then there is no Iddah required. So you can see clearly that the Iddah has to do with sexual intercourse, because people, one of the objections that you face, or we face when we talk about this, is that some Muslims will say, oh, it just provides an Iddah period, it does not say anything about sexual intercourse. But we can see here that this has everything to do with sexual intercourse, because if you've married a woman and you have not had sexual intercourse with her, then there is no need for an Iddah. An Iddah does not exist in that situation. So if a Muslim man marries a woman, doesn't have sexual intercourse with her, no consummation of the marriage took place, then if he divorces her, there is no Iddah required. She's to go and be rewarded handsomely as she lives. That is what Surah 33 verse 49 provides. Then the third verse that talks about Iddah, right, is Surah 65 verse 4. And this is the verse that we'll be talking about mostly today, and also that we'll see videos that confirm, right? This is the verse that we'll see from the videos we'll be watching about child marriage in the Middle East. This is the verse upon which everything we are going to be watching moving forward is based on. This is the one verse, alongside the act of Muhammad, alongside what we have in the hadiths, right? Alongside all of that, this is that verse that says, okay, child marriage is 100% halal. Now, the verse says, as for such of your women as despair of menstruation, if ye doubt, their period of waiting shall be 3 months, along with those who have it not. Okay, let me read that again. And this is where we'll stop. We'll not read the rest, because this one has to do with pregnant women. And the pregnant women, their Iddah period is until they give birth. And you can see it here. And for those with child, their period shall be till they bring forth their burden. And whoever keeps his duty to Allah, he maketh his cause easy for them. So this is the Iddah for pregnant women. We're not going to be looking too much at that. So for pregnant women is until they give birth. Okay? But for women who has despair of menstruation, those are women who are menopausal, women who have stopped menstruating. The Iddah period, the waiting period is 3 months, along with those who have it not, those who have no menstruation. That is what this verse is saying. Saying as those who have no menstruation and those who are in despair of menstruation, who have stopped menstruating completely, their waiting period is 3 months. So what does along with those who have it not mean? Let's look at Sahih International. And for those who no longer expect menstruation among your women, if you doubt, then their waiting period is 3 months. And also for those who have not menstruated. So those who have it not are those who have not menstruated. Let's see Yusuf Ali. Such of your women as have passed the age of monthly courses, for them the prescribed period, if you have any doubt, is 3 months. And for those who have no causes, it is the same. So what we see is that for those who do not menstruate. Now, of course, people always say, oh, this has to do with, you see Muslims say, especially modern Muslims, but not Muslims in the past. Modern Muslims will say, oh, this has to do with women who, due to illnesses or what have you, no longer menstruate or are not seeing their menstrual cycle due to one issue or the other. But we are going to see that based on the Arabic, that's not what this is saying. What this is saying is those who have not yet menstruated. These are for women who have not yet menstruated, who are yet to start menstruating because they are young. That is what this is saying. Okay? That is what this verse is saying. And in case you are in doubt, I'm going to go through a couple of we are going to go through a couple of I saw this blog online because I was too lazy to start gathering many. Anyway, it's not like I'm too lazy. They've already done the job, so there's no need for me to do it. I just have to go there and just pick it. So these are Muslim commentaries. These are what we call tafsirs. These are Muslim commentaries on this verse, Surah 65, verse 4. Right? This is one commentary. Sorry, I will not be pronouncing any of their names because I'm not good with names like this. Okay? Now, this is what this commentary says. If you do not know whether she menstruates or not, then the woman who has stopped menstruating and the one who has not yet, their waiting period is 3 months. As you can see, they said, and the one who have not yet, which means she's going to do in the future, but she has not yet. That means it has not started. That is what this tafsir is saying. And they are not the writer here is not alone. This is another one saying the rule regarding women, those who have not yet menstruated, that means they are not old enough, not reached puberty, and was touched. That means these are women who are not old enough and they were touched. The marriage was consummated. Their waiting period is 3 months. This is another tafsir. These are things that are written way back. These are not modern commentaries. These are commentaries that are closer to the time when these verses were revealed, right? 200 years after, or 300 for some of them, or even 500, before we get to modern scholars, many of them who are trying to rewrite the Quran, you know. This tafsir is saying, and there are those who have not yet menstruated and those who have stopped menstruating. As you can see, what is used here is have not yet menstruated. Here's another one saying those who have stopped menstruating, their period is 3 months, and those who have not yet menstruated, that means maids and young girls, not women. This is another one saying and the waiting period for young girls who did not menstruate yet and they had intercourse. Young girls who did not menstruate yet and they had intercourse, then we are divorced. So their waiting period is 3 months. This is another tafsir saying Then Muslim woman should not be imprisoned. And God made his mercy also upon the one who did not menstruate, the young girls, 3 months as well. This is from Al-Bukhari. Imam Al-Bukhari said, by virtue of the statement of Allah, and for those who have not monthly courses, i.e., they are still immature. And what did he cite? Surah 65, verse 4. And what is the title of this? This hadith. It's saying, giving one's young child in marriage is permissible. And also they cited, Aisha saying that the Prophet wrote the marriage contract with her when she was 6 years old and consummated his marriage when she was 9 years old, and then she remained with him 9 years. This is from Al-Tabri, very popular imam, very popular tafsir. What does it say? The same applies to the Iddah of girls who do not menstruate because they are too young. Too young. If their husband divorced them after consummating the marriage with them, the same applies to the Iddah of girls. That now the 3 months is what he's referring to, as you can see here, the 3 months. He's saying it also applies to the Iddah of girls who do not menstruate because they are too young if their husband divorced them after consummating the marriage with them. Here's another tafsir. It is proven that what it means is, if you doubt, he said it is proven, goes without saying at this point, if you doubt the waiting period in menopausal and young women, then it is 3 months, and Allah, of course, knows best. Here is this hadith giving like a hadith narration that explains the revelation in Surah 65 verse 4. Said this person came to the Prophet and said, "O Messenger of Allah, if a woman is in her menopause and does not menstruate, what is her waiting period? And the one who did not menstruate among your women," meaning that she reached 60 years. And he said, 50 years old, if you aren't sure about their waiting period is 3 months. And another man said, if she is young, what's her waiting period? And if she's young, what's her waiting period? And another said, if she was pregnant, and so is her waiting period. And those who have not menstruated yet, it means women who did not menstruate. Sorry, this is just like people trying to translate Arabic into English. So the English may not be like perfect. But the gist of it is, those who have not yet menstruated are young women, or that the translation of that verse is those who have not yet menstruated, because they are young, of course. And this is another hadith saying, young girls, the young ones, arrange the marriage of his young one. A man can arrange the marriage of his young one. This is another one saying, those who did not get their menstruation, as well as the ones who didn't reach puberty yet. Another one is saying, for a young girl who did not menstruate yet, the young, meaning the young ones, of being young. Ibn Kathir, Allah the Exalted, clarifies the waiting period for women in menopause, and that is the ones whose menstruation has stopped due to her old age. Her Iddah is 3 months instead of 3 monthly cycles for those who menstruate, which is based upon the ayat in Surah Al-Baqarah. The same for the young who have not yet reached the years of menstruation. Their waiting period is also 3 months. Farouk Abadi, from being young, their waiting period is 3 months. Haven't hit puberty yet, which indicates that giving her in nikah before puberty is permissible. As you can see here, this is not me saying it. I just want people to notice that this is not me saying it. This is imams who wrote commentaries saying this, and these are not imams who came in 2024 and are extremists or radicals. These are imams from way back when, right? These are popular, famous imams that many Sunni Muslims subscribe, as in, like, when it comes to their interpretation of the Quran, they submit to the submissions of these imams. We're talking Ibn Kathir, Al-Jalalain, Al-Tabri, right? Let me show you guys something. I just want to show you guys something so you understand what I'm talking about. Okay, this is tafsir.com, right? Where is the place where I can input This is tafsir.com. Now let's go to Surah. Let's go to Surah 65. 65, verse 4. Right? And let's display this from. Let's just to show you how the consensus that exists regarding this verse. That there is a consensus amongst Muslims. There is a general consensus. This is not me inventing or creating this or saying this. This is what all of them have said, right? As for those of your women who uh, in both instances no longer expect to menstruate, if you have any doubt about their waiting period, their prescribed waiting period shall be 3 months. Also for those who have not yet menstruated because of their young age, their period shall be 3 months. Both cases apply to other than those whose spouse have died. Blah, blah, blah. Quoting another verse of the Quran. Let's not go further. Let us look at another tafsir. Okay, it said, and for those of your women as despair of menstruation because of old age, if you doubt about their waiting period, their period of waiting shall be 3 months. Upon which another asks, O Messenger of Allah, what about the period of those who do not have menstruation because they are too young, along with those who have it not because of young age? Their waiting period is 3 months. Here's another one, just to show you the consensus. This is from Al-Wahidi. Al-Wahidi. Regarding this verse, this person said, when the verse, women who are divorced shall wait, keep themselves apart. This person said, O Messenger of Allah, what is the waiting period of women who do not menstruate, and women who and the woman who has not menstruated yet? And what is the waiting period of the pregnant woman? And so Allah exalted is He revealed this verse. That's the verse that we are talking about, showing that this verse applies to women who have not yet menstruated. All right. So then Ubay ibn Ka'b said, O Messenger of Allah, so women of Medina are saying there are other women who have not been mentioned. And he asked, who are they? And he said, those who are too young, such as they have not started menstruating yet, and those who are too old, whose menstruation has stopped, and those who are pregnant. And so this verse was revealed. So let's look at another tafsir. This is I don't know if this one has it. I doubt that it does. So let's just stop here. So I hope I've been able to demonstrate, which is the point of all these hadiths that we've read, all these commentaries that we've read thus far. I hope I'll be able to demonstrate that when this verse of the Quran that we did, this last verse of the Quran says, along with those who have it not, that there is a consensus based on those who understand Arabic and those who commented on this verse. It is perfectly understood that what Muhammad or what Allah was saying was women or girls who have not yet menstruated. Girls who have not yet menstruated, their waiting period is 3 months. So what does that mean? It means that according to Surah 65 verse 4, a Muslim man can marry, consummate the marriage, have penetrative sex, in case you are wondering what consummate means, have penetrative sex, and divorce a girl child, a young girl, before that girl has reached the age of puberty. That is the Quran. That is Allah. Okay? The reason why Muslims engage in child marriage is not just because of Muhammad did it. This is bigger than Muhammad at this point. Although Muhammad exemplified it because he's the perfect example for all Muslims. He exemplified it, right? But it's not just Muhammad. It is something that that Allah himself is okay with. Okay? He did not condemn it. Instead, he provided, he made provisions on how a Muslim man should go ahead with such a marriage, or how he can end that marriage. I mean, you do not prescribe how child marriage should end and say, okay, this is how you end it, and then we'll come to the conclusion that you did not support it or endorse it. It goes without saying that you are okay with it. So if Allah is like, this is how child marriage should end, then automatically he's okay with it. He's saying to the Muslim man, look, you can go ahead and do this. Now, it goes without saying that primitive cultures, okay, and cultures of people who are not exposed or who are not enlightened, let's use that word, have child marriage. You can find child marriage being practiced in those customs. It is a fact, okay, and it's not something that I'm going to shy away from because I want to dunk on Islam. I'm going to acknowledge that fact, and maybe I've not been acknowledging it enough. Maybe that's why many Muslims are angry with me whenever I talk about this, and they will be like, but it is customary. It is customary, especially in Africa. It is customary. Yeah, it is true. Even in the Middle East, it used to be customary. Okay? It used to be customary, child marriage. Also, we need to recognize the fact that child marriage, as you have in the Quran, is not what is even customary in Africa. Africans were not marrying children and consummating the marriage with children. Okay, it was not a custom in my side of Africa to marry a 5-year-old, consummate that marriage with that 5-year-old, and divorce that 5-year-old while she's yet to even see her first period. It is not customary for many customs. Okay, what you will find, especially in Africa and parts of the world where people, didn't have this, we are not enlightened and dare I say civilized. What you find there is that they say, okay, once a child starts menstruating, then she can. They call it old enough to bleed, old enough to breed, right? That is kind of what you find in those customs. Not that a prepubescent child can a prepubescent girl can have, can go into marriage and the man will consummate the marriage with that child. Okay, what you have in so many primitive cultures is they assume that once a child is, seeing her menstrual, having a period, then she's old enough to be a mother. And of course, this is based on limited knowledge. These people knew nothing. We can always excuse it with ignorance and say, okay, these people are ignorant. Like the Bible said, the years of ignorance God overlooked. Okay, the years of ignorance, it is easy. I can, if my heavenly Father can overlook the years of ignorance, who am I? I can overlook the years of ignorance, right? But here's the problem: Allah is not ignorant. Allah is not supposed to be, or at least he's not supposed to be. He's the creator of the universe. He knows everything. He's all knowing, all powerful, all merciful, divine, supreme, and whatever it is the Muslim want to claim that he is. So he should know about the female anatomy. He should know about the female body. He should know that this is wrong, as a matter of fact. But yet he okayed it. He said it is okay, and even prescribed for the Muslim man how to end the relationship or how to end such kind of marriage, and even allowed his prophet, did not shun his prophet, instead allowed his prophet to exemplify it for all Muslims. Okay, people always say, but Muhammad is not perfect. Muhammad is not perfect. Yes, when Muhammad made mistakes, Allah corrected him. But when Muhammad married Aisha, that was not corrected. Instead, you have Quran, you have Surah 65 verse 4, endorsing it, essentially saying, Muhammad was right in marrying a child. And here's how you end such relationship. So I hope this leaves, no one in doubt about what the Quran says about child marriage. You can marry any you can marry any girl child. You can marry her. Her parents can force her into marriage. Her parents can say, go ahead, get married. Once she's prepubescent, it is the consent of the parent that matter. You put just like how it was with Aisha, okay? A parent can give their young one in marriage, and their consent is what matters. That is what the Quran stipulates. That is what the Quran prescribes. That is what the Quran endorses. And even though someone might say, hey, it's indirect, but it is enough. It is enough. And as we have seen, it has been enough. Okay? And as which we are also going to see when we go into, the stories we want to cover. So I just want to, create, give us this foundational knowledge of child marriage in Islam and what the Quran says about it, so that we'll understand what we are about to see. Okay, because we are indeed about to see a lot of wonderful things. So I want you guys to understand what those things are and understand that this is not extra Islamic. This is not outside the scope of Islam. This is well within what is permissible in Islam. Okay, let me see a little of what has been said in the comment section or in the live chat. Okay, this is from Super Chat. Very low marriage bar. Why should you go out and look for a wife when you can just choose at family gathering? That's what we have in Islam, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we have in Islam. That is what we have in Islam. And also, thank you, Jess. Thank you so much for gifting 5 Nigerian Perspective membership. Thank you so much. If you want to, if there's a comment you want to, draw my attention to. Okay. Ryan Parry said, Adis, please say Rebecca was 3 so I can crush your dreams. Who is Adis? Adis said it was the culture of that time. Adis is not saying that it was the culture of that time is neither here nor there. I don't know if you understand that. Like saying, oh, it was the culture of that time is neither here nor there. The fact is, yes, I will agree with you. It was the culture of that time. But the Quran endorsed that culture. I don't know if you understand something. Like, it is one thing for something to be, okay, let me give you an instance. Right? Imagine that you have a God, right, whose words are final, right? It's like, my word is final, is last, is ever binding, non-changing. My words are final. No person can add to it. Nobody can subtract from it. My word is final, right? And he gives laws and he says, this is what you should do. This is how you should behave. This is how you should conduct yourself. And it's like, my words are final. And you have a belief system, a religion that says the word of God is final. Okay? His word is final. This is a religion that does not encourage innovation, what it calls innovation. Okay? And by innovation, we mean modern interpretation. It does not encourage that. It doesn't say, oh, over time, people can adjust. That is the religion we are dealing with. It's not like Christianity and Judaism, where you're like, okay, we can look at this and say, okay, these are not finite. These are not things that are said. These are ancient wisdoms, ancient insights and wisdom that we can apply in a way to modern circumstance and see how they fit into our modern understanding and our current wisdom and what we know about the world today. Right? No. Islam is saying, I am final. I am final. I'm from a God who knows it all. Okay? He's a know-it-all. He has told you everything that needs to be. It is not a religion that is flexible. It is rigid. Right? And it is so rigid because Muhammad is the final messenger of Allah. He is the seal of the prophets. After him, there is no other. Right? And every revelation he reveals is what every human being, this is the perfect law of Allah. Like, perfect. It is exactly the full intention of the creator of the universe, right? So you have such religions, such structure, such worldview, such legal system also that it has created, right? And then under that philosophical and theological environment, something like child marriage is endorsed. Don't you understand just how difficult it is for that to change? It is so difficult for that to change. For example, you have in the Bible, for example, you have where I think Peter was the one who said, slaves, be obedient to your masters, and then like, masters, be obedient to your slaves, right? And people have said, oh, this is Christianity endorsing slavery, for example. But we Christians can look at that and say, no, it is not endorsing slavery. It is not endorsing slavery. It is creating a rule for a particular time. Because when you read Paul's letter to Philemon, you see what the goal was, what the vision was when it has to do with slavery. And you can see how Paul was trying to work the believer through, or make the believer understand how to deal with a particular social condition, and say, look, yes, you are living in a society where slavery exists, but your slave is not your slave. He is your brother. You can read it as in stated there in the letter to Philemon. This person is your brother. Take him as a brother. And you also have Peter saying to the believer, saying, treat to master, saying, look, treat your slaves well as people who are free, recognizing that you have a master over you. And then told slaves, yes, you may have a master over you, but recognize that you are also free in Christ. It's just like that, just a position of giving rights to those who don't have it, and taking rights away from those who kind of have it in a way. Like, in a way, I'm not saying rights like your understanding or your political understanding of it, but more like a religious understanding of it, where it's like, if you are somebody, you live in a slave in a society where slavery is okay, look, this is how you conduct yourself when you have slaves. This is how you could treat them equally like you would treat your brother. They are not your slaves. Remember that Christ died for this person, and that Christ has freed them, and that you have a master over you. You don't read that and come to the conclusion that, yeah, the person who wrote this is like, yeah, slavery for the win, right? But when you read, and also you should also understand that the what is the way the Bible is written, it is not so rigid, right? The writers of the scripture, or especially the New Testament, they're not rigid. They're not giving rigid rules that only that is like continuing what is available in a particular society. Rather, they are giving rules or general rules that can be applied in different instances and circumstances in society. And these are people that are trying to help the believer navigate their current social circumstance. You understand? So that is what the New Testament in some parts is trying to do. But the Quran is not like that. The Quran does not leave room for anything. Okay, it is, we say it is that. In fact, it is not the word of Muhammad. It is the word of Allah himself, expressly stating it. This, like we talk about the letters to Paul, and we'll be, of Paul rather, and we'll be like, Paul was saying. That's not how people speak when they talk about the Quran. They don't say, and Muhammad was saying. No, Allah was saying. And you, a mere mortal, is going to contradict or reinterpret the express statement of the Almighty himself. You see how rigid the religion is. So yeah, you can say, oh, it's cultural. But Allah endorsed that culture. When God himself is endorsing a culture, the Almighty himself, the creator, so to speak, is endorsing a culture. Who are you to say, oh, it was for that time? It was just for that time. Who are you? That is the problem, okay? I think I've gone too long in trying to explain this. Okay, Bukar Kali said, but the verse didn't use the term girls, but women. No, it's female. It's a general term. It's female, girls. This is also an opposition that is being brought up. Oh, the verse did not say girls. It said women. But you can see from all the interpretations we look at, from all the interpretations, the word did not, the word woman there was used as in general terms to refer to all females. Okay, the fact that I use women does not mean, oh, he's talking to matured women, and that, oh, there are women. And if in case you don't know, there are many Muslim scholars who have come to the conclusion that any woman who is ready for Islamic marriage is already a woman. Okay, so if that's what you're trying to say, then good luck to that. Good luck with that. Good luck. In fact, it's the same thing. It's neither here nor there. Your point does not change the fact. And yet this is saying you Hindus started it first, so don't pry into other religions if you can't handle criticisms. Yiddish, right? Or Yiddish. Are you doing the classic whataboutism? What about Hindus? No, calm down. We're talking about Islam today. Okay? Like I said, there are so many cultures where it is practiced. I did not ignore that. We're talking about Islam. If you read the thumbnail, it is written Islamic child marriage. So don't distract. Okay, don't do that. Let's not distract from what we are talking about today. If you want to open a channel tomorrow and show how Hindus are practicing child marriage, go ahead. I would love for you to talk about that. That needs to change. People in India will agree with you that practice also needs to change, needs to come to an end, that it is not healthy for society. Okay, go ahead and do that, right? Another thing also you should notice about Hindus and Muslims is that Muslims are not the ones who are trying to take over the world. Okay, trying to conquer every nation and turn all of us to Muslims. Okay, that's not what Hindus are trying to do. But you, as a Muslim, that's your goal. You have to spread Islam. Okay, spread it all out to every nation, every household, every person should become a Muslim by force or by thunder or by force. Of course, you say, oh, we don't force people, but if you choose not to join our religion, you either die or you become a dhimmi. Choose one. Yeah, that sounds like force to me. So that the Hindus are not doing that. Muslims are doing that. So if you want to spread your civilization, your culture, right, your Islamic culture, Islamic law to every society on the planet, including child marriage, then we should talk about you. You are, in fact, you in part when it comes to child marriage, your Islam in particular should be something everybody should pay attention to, because this is an idea, a philosophy, a culture, a way of life that seeks to export itself to every other culture and dominate every other culture. So there is that. All right, Geji said Islam is perfect. You guys can't comprehend the word. Are you trolling? Are you trolling right now? You are right, 100%. Okay, Islam is perfect. Okay, perfectly morally bankrupt. Okay, we are looking at an ideology that has serious moral bankruptcy. Islam is the perfect candidate. So yeah, I agree with you. We both are in agreement. Yiddish, Islam is perfect. And Ryan Paris is asking, Yiddish, answer my question unless you are ashamed of Muhammad. Did a 54-year-old force himself on a 9-year-old? And those are the hadith. This. Anyway, so we've laid the foundation. We've laid the foundation. Guys, in case you're looking for forgiveness of sins, in case you're looking for forgiveness of sins, because of course we all know that child marriage is not a sin, it's not a moral evil, according to the perfect law of Allah. So, but any other sin, you will be forgiven in Islam. So please, by all means, convert or revert. She meant revert because you were born a Muslim, obviously. Tuggy is saying, hi, everyone. Hi, you're just joining us. Okay, good to have you. Good to have you. We're talking about child marriage, Tuggy. We're talking about child marriage in Islam. In Islam, precisely. In Islam. Mike RR said, perfectly disgusting. Exactly. Exactly. Perfectly reprehensible. Perfectly despicable. Perfectly dangerous. Every negative perfection. Islam fits perfectly into it. Right. Michael Friedman said, Fieldman. I don't know if that's how it should be pronounced, but I'll pronounce it like that anyway. Michael Fieldman said, child marriage is wrong, period. Exactly. It is wrong, period. This was a topic that I wanted me and I and Rebecca were planning to go live on Wednesday. This was what we were initially planning to talk about before the topic was changed to reacting to destiny. We wanted to talk about child marriage. And she said she was like, look, my only opinion about child marriage is that it is wrong and it should stop. Period. I don't know what else to say about it. She was like, all I can say about child marriage is it is wrong and it should stop. Period. And every sensible person is like, yeah, that is it. You stop. It is wrong. Period. Except the Muslim. When you bring the Muslim into the conversation, it's like, is it wrong? What do you mean by child? Then all this, nonsense conversations. We start having them. We start discussing. Really, is it really bad to marry somebody who is 4? Is it really bad to sexually penetrate somebody who is 8? Come on, really? Is it? What do you mean by wrong? Define wrong. They become very, very, very pedantic. It's like, define wrong, define child, define. You define so many things at one point. You're like, what are we even talking about? And thug is like vile practice. Yes. Yiddish is saying that we should talk about how Islam has helped Black people in America. How has it helped Black people in America? Yiddish, just give us some insight about how Islam has helped. But that will be distracting us from what we are about to talk about today. But I'll be curious to see how exactly Islam has helped Black Americans. I want to see how. How has it helped Black Americans? Christiness is in agreement with me. Yes, it is wrong 100%. In fact, 1000%. It is wrong. Yeji said Islam has helped black and brown people in the world, which is dominated by okay. Yeah, sometimes people just say something so ridiculous, and all I can say is okay. Okay. If you say so, what do you want me to? This is so ridiculous. There's so the level of ridiculousness in just one comment is remarkable. How you are able to compress. So people see there are talents that I've seen in this world. Okay, there are talents I've seen in this world. There are talents where people are remarkable in compressing nonsense. Like they can pack in one sentence, comprising of how many words? How many words? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. In 18 words, okay? 18 words, Yiddish is able to compress two huge nonsense. In fact, three huge nonsense in 18 words. Let me show you how this is nonsense. That Islam has helped black and brown people in a word, dominated by Zionists and Western imperialists. That is what she said. Islam has helped. What world is dominated by Zionists? That's the first thing I want to ask. What world is dominated by Zionists and Western imperialists? What world exactly are we talking about? Are you talking about America? Is America a world dominated by Zionists and Western imperialists? How so? How so is Western imperialism dominating America? Because America is a Western society. There is no domination. This is a Western society with Western culture, Western values, run by democracy, freedom of expression, freedom of everything. How is that dominating black and brown people? If the word you are referring to is the word as a whole, and you are saying, and you use the word imperialism to talk about the effect of Islam in the world as a whole, are you joking? Are you joking? Like, be honest with me. Are you joking? Because when you talk about imperialism, then you should talk about the Arabization of the entire north of Africa. Or those people are not black and brown, or people in Mali, people in Mauritania, they're not black and brown. Sudanese, they're not black and brown. They are the Arabization of those lands and those people. It's not imperialism. What is Arabic? What is Arabic for slave? It's not Abid. And Abid is not how you refer to black people. Arabs refer to black people as Abid, slaves. And what is the religion of the Arabs? Did Muhammad have slaves? Did Muhammad have black slaves? What exactly are you talking about? A world dominated by Zionists. If the world dominated by Zionists, you mean Palestine. What is the major harm and evil in that region is Islam. The reason why people are dying, the reason why 30, seriously, I am serious, quote me, the reason why over 30,000 people have died in this recent conflict is because of Islam. It is because that is the reason why Arabs believe, let's not call them Palestinians because that's not what they are. They're Arabs. That's the reason why Arabs believe that the Jews have no place in that area. Your religion is the reason for that. And you're talking about liberating people and helping them when you have directly given them the mindset that has made them become shaheeds. What are you talking about? I mean, the level of nonsense that you can. No, that's but seriously, Yiddish, this comment is really impressive. It is really, really impressive. Your talent, you have real good talent in like compressing nonsense in 18 words. That's impressive. I commend it. You will go far with this mentality, with this talent. You will really go far. Okay, so just keep going. The sky is the limit. The sky is just the limit. Day of Revelation said the world is dominated by Jews. Of course. Yes, Josh is saying willingly believing this is okay and defending it makes you evil. End of discussion. True, true, true. And that is what Islam makes you, as in Yeri said the slave trade was started even before Islam was founded by Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Okay. What was that? Was my point that Muhammad started slavery? You're saying Muhammad was the solution to slavery. And now you're like, oh, before he started slavery. I'm like, yeah, he's not the solution because he participated in it. And in Islam, it is not a problem to have slaves. We read in Surah, in Surah, what was that Surah that we read? Thank God what was that Surah we read? I think it's here. Is it here? See. I am Yiddish. I want you to read with me slowly, slowly. O prophet, lo, you have lawful unto thee thy wives, unto whom thou hast paid their dowries, and those whom thy right hand possess or possesseth. You know, trying to sound all old King James. Do you know who are those that thy right hand possess? Slaves. And here it is permissible for the prophet. Okay, it is permissible for the prophet to have slaves, to have sex with his slaves. It is permissible for him to have sex with his slaves. This is what your God is saying to your prophet. He is permitted to have sex with his slaves. So before you talk about how Islam freed the slaves and helped black and brown people, please know what you're talking about. By all means, please know what you're talking about. He said Islam continues to propagate slavery. Even to guys, the Middle East, slavery did not end there. Even in North Africa, in Libya, there is a slave market in Libya. And these are black people. Hear this. I want you to hear this. Hear this. These are black people who are captured by Arabs in Libya. In Libya, this is a known fact. I'm not Google it. If you think I'm lying, Google it. In Libya, there is a slave market. Black people are captured and sold to Arabs as slaves. It is going on today in Libya. Talk about Islam liberating the slaves. Please. You know, like black people will say, Negro, please. Please don't give me that. I know people have been telling you that, but it's not true. It's a big and look, maybe I believe that you don't. I know earlier I said you compress so many stupid things in one statement, and it may sound kind of, you know, I'm attacking you, but please, I'm saying this. This is me now trying to be as Christian as possible. Okay, I am saying this with 100% love and care right now. Please don't allow people to deceive you like this. Yedish, I believe that you have been told false information. You've been lied to. I don't believe that you believe that you knew for a fact that you were lying and you openly, and of course I've not accused you of lying, thankfully so. But I believe that somebody told you this stupid nonsense and somehow you didn't care to look into it. This is me being generous right now. Okay. So you had it, someone said it and you believed it. But I'm here to tell you, those things are lies. They are not true. Everything they told you about how Islam freed the slaves, maybe they also told you that Islam gave rights to women and whatever it is they told you, how woke the religion is, all of those are lies. Okay, pure 100% lies. Okay, don't believe it. It's a lie. It's a lie. It's a very big lie. This is Chipo saying, "How are you doing, Frank? Doing fantastic, doing fantastic." Now, you know, doing fantastic. Yeah, you say I think that's wrong on what's happening with black people in Libya. I'm just telling you what Muslims are doing to. It's Arabs that are doing this. These are Muslims doing this. Okay, these are Muslims doing it. Okay, and there is nothing in Sharia law, there is nothing in the Quran, there is nothing in the Hadith that say they are wrong. They have every Islamic right. There's something people don't know about. When I say somebody has right to do something, I'm saying based on a particular theology, because rights are God given, right? And if you believe that your God is Allah, then you have the right to have slaves. Slaves of war. You have the right to have them and even buy them. If your God is Allah, then he has given you the right to have slaves. So there is that. It's beginning to rain over here. I hope it does not affect mine. If it does, I just switch. I don't have strength today. I don't have strength today. All right. Let's go to the videos. Sorry, picking my nose in front of all of you. Picking my nose in front. That's very bad, very unprofessional. Forgive me, guys. For I have sinned. Let's go to the video. Sorry, there's a place where I kept there's a place where all the links to the videos were kept. Let me go there and pull them. How many are we going to be looking at? Let's see. How many do I have hide up here? How many stock do I really have in stock? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus 5. Devil is a liar. Stop singing. Let's see. Give me a second, guys. Let me pull this thing up. So what we have here is okay, we have I have many. I have a lot. I have a lot of videos, guys. A lot. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so one is from Yemen. I think another one is from it's from Syria or so. I'm not sure. Another one is from Lebanon. Another one is from Afghanistan. Another is from Iraq, and another one is from Pakistan. And the interesting one about the one from Pakistan is that this is a Pakistani who was living in the United States. Interesting story. So we are going to be looking at some of those. Hopefully we'll get to all of them before my bedtime reaches. I will have to call it a day. Wow. This video is age restricted. I didn't know that. The first video I was about to show you, YouTube just told me, hey, this video is age restricted. And now I'm like, should I go ahead and show it and then my live stream becomes age restricted? Wow. Hard choice. You know what? Let me go to the second one. Let me keep that one for last. That's child marriage in Yemen. Child marriage in Yemen is age restricted. Hopefully this is not age restricted. Hopefully this next one is not age restricted. Let me see. Okay, it is not. It is not. So let's go ahead and have it. This is oh, thanks. This is a report from CNN. So for those who always accuse CNN of not covering these things, see, CNN is covering it, okay? CNN is covering it. So this is news from CNN about a 9-year-old being sold. Sold is how it is being portrayed. Like they were sold. They were not sold. The dowries was paid. Okay? That's what happened. Dowry was paid. But let's listen to what Jake Tapper has to say.
Now in a distressing story out of Afghanistan showing the harsh reality of the humanitarian crisis engulfing the country, especially post-Taliban rule. Desperate families so impoverished They tell CNN they have no choice but to sell their young daughters into some twisted form of marriage. In this exclusive report, CNN witnesses the tragic fate facing these helpless little girls in this culture where girls and women are too often treated horrifically. The parents gave us full access and permission.
So as you can see from what Jake Tapper is saying, he's saying this is a culture, of course, not a religious culture, but just a culture where women are treated horrifically. He another word that he uses, he called it a twisted form of marriage. It's a twisted form of marriage. Of course, that's one thing he will not mention, is that this has something to do with Islam. And you will see throughout this media cover, this story being reported, no mention, there will be hardly any mention of Islam. There will be hardly any, if there is any, look, you know what? If they mention Islam, Sharia, Muslim, that I don't take alcoholic drink. But if you do, you can play a drinking game at home, because I'm very sure you will not drink anything. Okay, there will be nothing for you to drink. Okay, this is usually done when it is repeated over and over again. But in this case, you drink less. Okay, so you remain sober for the rest of the live stream. But whatever, if they mention anything that has to do with Islam or Sharia or Muslim, I will sip from my cup. But I doubt that will happen. And you can join me in this game. Let's see how it goes.
Permission to talk to the children and show their faces, because they say they cannot change the practice themselves. CNN's Anna Corin reports.
In this arid, desolate landscape, not a scrap of vegetation in sight, lies a makeshift camp for some of Afghanistan's internally displaced.
And of course, these are people in Afghanistan that are internally displaced. Guys, give me a second. I want to fix something before my network starts fluctuating. Because if it does, it's going to be interesting. Okay, it's going to be very interesting. So just give me a moment. Let me fix something. Just give me a moment, guys, because it is raining right now, and we all know what happens when it rains. We all know what happens when it rains. So I just want to take care of that before I start having network issues. Okay, so guys, just give me a moment. Let me fix this. You can use this moment as a break. Okay, you can use this to take a break, not go out of the live stream. Just go get something. Maybe grab yourself a popcorn or a bottle of whatever, as we are preparing for this drinking game that you most likely will not drink anything in. But please, just take this as a break, a moment. Use the toilet. Some of you have been sitting for close to 1 hour 38 minutes, and you've not taken a trip to the toilet. So this is your opportunity. Okay, utilize it while I start making backup plan for when the rain starts manifesting. Okay, so that's essentially what I'm trying to do. Trying to create a backup plan before the rain starts. Number 2. One off. Tell me. Oh, successful. All right. So what else do I have to do? I need to make my screen single, and I need to switch my Wi-Fi. All right, so you're going to notice a little glitch, slight glitch. All right. And we're good to go. The break is over. The break is over. Give me a second. The break is over, guys, and we are back. We are back. We are back. We are back. All right, let's go. Let's go.
Among its residents, 9-year-old Pawana. Her bright pink dress squeals of laughter and childhood games, a ruse to the horrors unfolding in this unhospitable environment.
As you can see from the dressing of these girls, these are Christians, obviously, or Hindus. I believe this is how Hindus dress, right? So we are looking at Hindu women in Afghanistan and Christian women, 9-year-old girls getting ready to get married. So this is kind of what you expect in Christian societies, especially in Afghanistan. So you can see how this is purely a cultural issue because it's, a Christian doing it, as you can see. It's just the culture we are talking about is the Christian Afghanistan culture. So there you go.
Pawana's family moved to this camp in Baghdis province 4 years ago after her father lost his job. Humanitarian aid and menial work, earning $3 a day, providing the basic staples to survive. But since the Taliban takeover 2.5 months ago, any money or assistance has dried up. And with 8 mouths to feed, Pawana's father...
And Takbir, Allahu Akbar is something that Christians say. Obviously, goes without saying. Now, of course, there's how this report is going to paint the scenario to be something that is more of a culture that has been created due to economic hardship, right? And people in the West who have not experienced, wars and catastrophe and disaster will have the opinion that, oh, this is what people do when they are in dire situation. They sell their children. But no, that's not true. Okay, not everyone in a dire situation, in desperate situation, will be like, oh, you know what I should do? I should sell my children, or I should give my children out as child brides. It's not people don't. It's not a normal thing for people to do. It is not normal. I want you all to understand that it is not normal for people to sell when they are in dire situation, when they are destitute, when they are poor. It is not normal that what they see as a remedy is to sell out their children. That is bad. That is barbaric. That does not justify this in any way. Okay? And quite frankly, yes, the poverty is a contributing factor. Yes, we cannot ignore the poverty in Afghanistan. We can't. There is real poverty in many countries in the Middle East. But the poverty is not what is creating this problem. The poverty alone is not what is creating this problem. There is a culture that exists in Afghanistan that makes it okay, that makes parents consider giving their children out in marriage as a way of getting money or less mouth to feed, and also, using the money paid as dowry to better themselves or to help themselves out in financial circumstances such as this. There is also a culture, and that culture is an Islamic culture. It is a culture that is facilitated by Islam. I want us to keep that in mind, because as we go on, even other videos we are going to watch, they are going to talk about the poverty, the extreme poverty, the extreme poverty, the extreme poverty. But we should bear in mind that it is not just poverty that is contributing to this. It is not just an economic condition. Now, I also want to state that I believe strongly that if the economics issue, the state of the economy in these areas, if there is something that is done to elevate the poverty, the extreme poverty that these people are facing, that the rate of child marriage will be on the decline. Yes, I strongly believe that will be the case. I strongly believe that the rate of child marriage in Afghanistan will decline if the economic situation in that country improves. But it does not mean it will go away. Okay? I don't think it will go away. It does not also mean that it is, how will I put it? There are many, there are problems that are multifaceted, right? They have multiple factors that are responsible for it, right? So if you remove one of the factors, right? What you see, the problem will reduce, but it will not go away. Okay, that does not mean that this is the only thing that is causing this problem. Is that this problem has multiple factors responsible for it. Poverty, yes, is one of the factors responsible for child marriage in the Middle East, but poverty is not alone, is not to be blamed. And as a matter of fact, I believe strongly, and I'm strongly of the opinion, and the reason why I am of that opinion is because we see in other parts of the world where there is severe poverty that people are not selling their children into marriage as a result, or giving their children out in marriage as a result of that poverty, as a way to help themselves financially. You don't see such practice in societies, other societies that are poor but don't have this culture, right? For a society to engage in this kind of thing in poverty is because there is an underlying culture that exists in the first place. Okay, so in a culture where slavery is okay, right? Where slavery is a thing. If you have a culture where it is okay to have slaves, in extreme economic situations, there will be plenty slaves in that community, in that society. You have a lot of slaves, right? But when the economy begins to improve, you may have less slaves in that society. But you're not having, but it does not mean the underlying cultural issue that makes the slave to exist in the first place is over, is out of the way. Yes, economy may improve the situation, but it will not completely get rid of the situation, of the problem. Rather, it may reduce the problem, but it will not completely eradicate the problem, because the problem is cultural. And it may also be, I think this needs to be stated, that it may also be that even when you remove the poverty element, the child may not really decline. The decline will not be significant. Okay, it's important to also know that
Father is now doing the unthinkable. I have no work, no money, no food. I have to sell my daughter, he says. I have no other choice.
Yes, what other people will sell themselves, would rather sell themselves than sell their children. But a Muslim man in Afghanistan is like, sell myself? No, I'll sell my children instead. Well, nobody is buying him anyway. There is that. The only thing people are willing to buy. Is it not interesting? You live in a society where people don't have money, and people who have money are buying people.
Pawana, who dreams of going to school and becoming a teacher, applies makeup. A favourite pastime for little girls, but Pawana knows she is preparing for what awaits her. My father has sold me because we don't have bread, rice and flour. He has sold me to an old man. The white-bearded man, who claims he's 55 years old, comes to collect her.
We have royalty in the comments, in the live chat. What's up? What's up? What's up? We're talking about child marriage, your favorite activity. That's what we're talking about here, especially child marriage in the Middle East, places like Afghanistan and the likes. That's what we are talking about. Stay tuned. Everything we are going to talk about are things you are a fan of, and you will enjoy. We're talking about a 9-year-old marrying a 55-year-old man. You will love this. This is fantastic. Okay. See, he's already laughing. He's entertained. He's like, this is why I love your live streams. You talk about interesting, wonderful stuff, things that I like. So here we are talking about the things that you all right, let's continue with the video.
He's bought Pawana for 200,000 Afghanis, just over $2,000 US.
Wow, for $2,000 US, you can get yourself a child bride in Afghanistan. Very, all those or if you're somebody, people who have who are pedophiles, right, who are PDF files in the West, right, all you have to do is just convert to Islam and move to Afghanistan. Problem solved. Your dream is like moving to paradise. Take your fortune, that's a lot of money, trust me. Move to Afghanistan, you'll be like a king with all your, all your savings. You're like a king already. You're like emperor. You're like Alexander the Great Once you step into Afghanistan, you are the man, and you fully clothed with your, Arabic apparel, right? Looking like somebody from the region. Already have your prayer bead, your Quran, everything. You are ready. You have declared the Shahada, right? You recognize the Taliban. You are all for whatever they are doing. You're like, yeah, let's go, right? You're already king. I'm telling you, you don't even have to be married. All your 4 brides can be 6, 7, 8. 8 is too old. You can make it 5, 6, 7. All you need is just 2,000 US dollars, and you can even price down. You can haggle and get maybe 1,000, maybe 500, depending on how dire the circumstance is for these fathers, right? You can get yourself people way younger. Okay, tips for my PDF files out there.
Covered up, Pawana whimpers as her mother holds her. This is your bride. Please take care of her, says Pawana's father. Of course I will take care of her, replies the man.
Yeah.
His large hands grab her small frame.
Right now, this image right now, this is exactly right what happened between Muhammad and Aisha. This is exactly what happened, and I'll prove it. Let me bring up the hadith. This is exactly what happened between Muhammad and Aisha. There is, and here's the funny thing. Abu Bakr, Aisha's father, was not a poor person. He wasn't like destitute. He wasn't in dire situation. He wasn't in severe need of money. Okay? In fact, there are people who have argued, right, that the reason why Muhammad took Aisha as a bride is because he wanted to strengthen the bond that he had between himself and Abu Bakr, right? That has been the one of the excuses that people have given for the marriage that Muhammad had with his child bride, his favorite bride. So that's to show you that this thing is not just poverty. Even when the person is not poor, this kind of marriage can still go on. And this is exactly what happened between Muhammad and Aisha, because one of the hadith narration, Aisha said she was playing with her girlfriends. Her mother called her, wiped her face, took her into a room where women were prepared, and then certain women prepared her. They prepared her, and then later that day, a 54-year-old man appeared and carried her. Alhamdulillah, carried her. And that night was a glorious night for Muhammad. That is all I can say. It was a very glorious night for the Prophet. That is how it is about to be a very glorious night for this 55-year-old man taking a 9-year-old bride, the same age as Aisha. You think he's going to take that woman and this girl and not consummate the marriage with her the same night he's taking the girl? I mean, his prophet did that. What is stopping him? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. This is Islam, ladies and gentlemen. This is Islam.
Tries to pull away. As he carries her only bag of belongings, she again resists, digging her heels into the dirt. But it's futile. The fate of this small, helpless child has been sealed. Child marriage is nothing new in poor rural parts of Afghanistan. But human rights activists are reporting an increase in cases because of the economic and humanitarian crisis engulfing the country.
Not CNN, they are always going to pivot to something. They'll be like, oh, you see, it's because of the economic situation. That's what they are going to repeat here over and over again. I told you that if they mention, if throughout this report you hear them mention Islam, Quran, or Muslim, anything like that, take a sip. It's not going to happen. It's not. Throughout this report, they would not mention it. You're not even, I doubt you even hear somebody allude to, as in make an allusion to it, like say, infer that there's something about it that has to do with a particular religion that we don't know about. You know, nothing like that is going to be said. It's just, they're going to lay emphasis on, look at the economic circumstance in Afghanistan. You know, after the US withdrew from the area, after the Taliban took over, look at what is happening. things have gotten harder, and then there are sanctions. There are so many sanctions. Bank accounts have been frozen. People are losing their jobs. They have no money. And now all the people who have children that are younger than 9 have found a profitable business.
These are devastating decisions that no parent should ever have to make. And it really speaks to what an extraordinary breakdown is happening in Afghanistan right now.
For months, the UN has been warning of a catastrophe as Afghanistan, a war-ravaged, aid-dependent country, descends into a brutal winter. Billions of dollars in central bank assets were frozen after the Taliban swept to power in August. Banks are running out of money, wages haven't been paid for months, while food prices soar. According to the UN, more than half the population doesn't know where their next meal is coming from. And more than...
What do you mean they don't know? They know where it's coming from. It's coming from the next marriage that they're about to, I want to just know. I really want to know. This is a poor country, right? This is a country of extreme poverty. Child marriage is on the rise. I don't know how many happens every year. People are spending in a country where people don't have money. We have 55-year-old men who are spending thousands of US dollars in marrying child brides. Like, hey, we are neighbors, right? We don't have money. There's poverty in the land. There is hunger in the land. There's starvation and all whatnot. And you look at your neighbor is suffering, and you're like, how do I help you, my neighbor? Say, my children, we don't have anything to eat. We are really struggling right now. And it's like, how do I help this, my neighbor? It's like, do you have a daughter? So I have a daughter. How old is she? She's 6. She's 6? Okay. This is what I will do for you. I'm going to marry your 6-year-old, and I'm going to give you $2,000 US. How does that sound? Sounds nice? Just imagine that. Just imagine that you're a 55-year-old man with $2,000 US to spare. And you're like, how do I spend it to help the people in my community by marrying off their girl child? Is this not one? Also, very important. You are living in a poor country with poor economic condition. You are heavily reliant on aid. Why are you having multiple children? Why? Like, when are we going to really ask these people in poor communities? And I mean it in every poor community. Why are you having so many children? So many people who give birth like they're giving birth like in like this is not meant to be taken as an insult. I'm not calling them pigs, but they give birth like pigs, right? They give birth to a litter, right? And you don't have money to take care of any of them. And then your plan is, I'm going to give birth to a lot of daughters, and then I'm going to give those daughters into marriage as young, give them away into marriage as young as 6, 7, 8, 9. That is your plan. And the CNN reporter is like, no, it's really a difficult choice for these parents to make. They find themselves in a very difficult circumstance, very difficult choice to make. Between feeding your family and marrying off your child is really a difficult choice. There are many things I think I can imagine as alternatives. There are many I can imagine as alternatives. Like, how about not having plenty children? How about considering your economic circumstance when you are having children? How about the men who are married control themselves? I know you'd be like, they don't have access to contraceptives and what have you. How about they control themselves and realize that, look, we are not in a situation where we can afford to have plenty children. So let's be careful here, not give birth to a bunch. Let's be careful. No, we are going to give birth to a bunch. We cannot feed them, and then we are going to sell them off. No, there are certain things that you that will exist because you already have a culture that says, you know what, give birth to a bunch, it doesn't matter. Just marry them off when they are young. It is halal certified.
And 3 million children under the age of 5 face acute malnutrition in the coming months.
People of Afghanistan need a lifeline.
And while $1 billion has been pledged by UN donors to help the Afghan people, less than half those funds have been received as the international community holds off recognizing the Taliban government.
People of Afghanistan will be dying of hunger in the next couple of months. and not just a few. This is just making people more and more vulnerable. And we cannot accept that.
Sentiments shared by the Taliban.
We are asking.
Why wouldn't they share this? Why wouldn't the Taliban? This is another very ridiculous thing about this report. At one point when I was watching it before this live stream, I was like, wait, what's your point, CNN? Like, don't tell me you're just reporting. You have a point. Are you saying the international community should recognize the Taliban government, no sanction whatsoever? They should be allowed? If the Taliban really cares about these people, you know what they should do? Stop being the government of Iraq. Right? Right is Iraq. I hope I got the country correctly. If I mentioned another country, the wrong country. Afghanistan, sorry. My bad. Afghanistan. Stop being the government of Afghanistan. Look at me having a Joe Biden moment. Hey, before I call the president of Russia, Ukraine, Putin, let me calm down. This is my Joe Biden moment. Let me calm down. Let the Taliban stop being the government of Afghanistan. A terrorist organization should not be running a country. They should say, you know what, we care so much about our people, and let's not continue, let's not continue running the country. Let's think about our people. Let's really be a government that care about our people. But of course, they don't care about their people. What they care more, what they are more interested in is creating a Sharia hellhole in Afghanistan. That is more important than anything. I mean, in that Sharia hellhole is where 6 years, 7 years, 8 years, 9-year-old girls can get married to 55-year-old men. Who said that this is a problem? This is perfect. Okay, this is great. But the camera is pointing, so let's say something like we give a damn. Let's talk like we care. We don't, but let's talk like we do.
Aid agencies to come back to Afghanistan and help these poor people. Otherwise, the crisis will worsen.
For this family in neighbouring Gore province, they are trying to sell 2 daughters, 9-year-old Litan and 4-year-old Zeton, for $1,000 each.
You see, I told you can haggle. If you haggle the price, you can get a 4-year-old, someone way younger. You can get a 4-year-old for $1,000. I told you if you can haggle, you can get a very good deal. I'm very sure you can go lower than that. You can. It just depends on how dire the situation is for the parents. You can go lower than that. This man is selling his 4-year-old daughter. 4-year-old daughter for $1,000. Alhamdulillah, ladies and gentlemen. Alhamdulillah. Allah is indeed the greatest. Allahu Akbar.
Do you know why they're selling you? The journalist asked Zayton. Because we are a poor family and don't have any food to eat, she says. Are you scared? He asks. Yes, I am. Another family in Gore province borrowed money from their 70-year-old neighbour. Now he's demanding it back, but they have nothing to give except their 10-year-old daughter, Mag.
10-year-old daughter is about to marry a 70-year-old man. Wow. This is wonderful. This is...
My daughter doesn't want to go and is crying all the time. I am so ashamed, he says.
No, you're not ashamed. Oh my God, you're not ashamed. You know, you're not ashamed. You're not ashamed. You are not, sir. Sir, you are not ashamed. No, you are not ashamed. I've never seen somebody so shameless in my life. You are very shameless, sir. Very, very shameless. Am I saying that to somebody who is poor? Yeah, I'm saying, see, you can be poor, and still have dignity, and still have self, like, and still say, look, there are some certain things I will never do. But this man is not that kind of person. No, sir. You don't have shame. You don't respect you don't even value your children. You don't. And the reason why you don't is because your religion and your God said it's okay. But now the cameras are pointing and it's time to beg Westerners. All right? It's time to beg Westerners. It's time to get sympathy. One thing that Muslims are experts in doing once the camera is pointing is to cry. I am really ashamed of what I'm about to do. I'm really ashamed. Really. Oh, you are not?
She threatens to take her life. If they push me to marry the old man, I will kill myself. I don't want to leave my parents. Days later, she discovers the sale has been finalised. Another Afghan child sold into a life of misery.
And even the 70-year-old man himself, like, well,
Jake, it is just gut-wrenching knowing what these young girls will be subjected to. And just an update on young Magul, the last girl in our story there. She will be handed over to the 70-year-old man in the coming days. It's just a tragic fate that awaits this young girl. Now, if the aid situation is not addressed...
Let's return back to talking about the aid situation. Let's go back to talking about the aid situation. That is what is causing all of this. Let's return to the aid situation, guys. Let's ignore the fact that a 70-year-old man will look his neighbor in the face and say, look, you are owing me money. You cannot pay, but give me your 10-year-old daughter. And we look at all of that and we're like, yeah, see, the 70-year-old man is despicable. The father is despicable. The culture is despicable. But guys, let's talk about the aid. The aid, guys, the aid. Do you remember the aid? Yeah, the aid. Let's talk about the aid. Let's talk about the aid. Because we all hold this truth to be self-evident that there was never child marriage in Afghanistan until the aid crisis, right? Until the humanitarian crisis, right? Until the Taliban took over. That was when the child marriage started.
Urgently. The UN projects, Jake, that by the middle of next year, 97% of Afghans will be living below the poverty line, not meaning that hunger and starvation will be facing these people alone, but that other girls will end up like Magul and Parwana. Jake.
Yeah, this is such a horrible story. It's so tough to watch. You know that this happened, this tradition, this awful thing was predated the Taliban taking over.
See, Jake is trying to bring back this predates the Taliban taking over. We should mention that this predates. Jake is like, okay, we've heard about, but can we remember that this predates that? Like let's remember that this predates that. This is before the Taliban. This has always been existing. But no, the aid is
over again. But how has the Taliban takeover in Afghanistan earlier this year made it worse? How has it exacerbated this problem of families selling their daughters?
Look, absolutely, you're absolutely right. This has been around for forever. However, from the local journalists that we've been speaking to and working with, they say that once upon a time it was behind closed doors. Now it is out in the open. The international community is obviously...
I call BS. I call BS. Okay, maybe what they mean is before the Taliban took over, they were hiding it because sorry guys, for a brief moment I was away. But now I'm back. Sorry. For a brief moment I was away, but now
Taliban as the official government, and as a result they are freezing billions of dollars in reserves that would, otherwise go to the people of Afghanistan. They're doing this to try and hold the Taliban to account, especially on their record regarding human rights of women and of young girls. But by punishing the Taliban, it means that money is not getting to Afghans most vulnerable, which obviously includes the girls in our piece, Jake.
Really tough. Really
all right, so that's the story from Afghanistan. Let me see what you all are saying in the comments. Let me include me in your conversation. This is from Michael Friedman. Said, look, Afghanistan has been like this for decades. And Anta said, not when it was Buddhist. Okay. So, okay, that's important to note. But now that the Taliban has taken over, it's like child marriage galore. Let's go ahead and do that. Yes, I said I got banned 7 days in Twitter for saying that in Islam, ex-Muslims are killed. I'm an ex-Muslim. If more than that has happened to Yasa, by the way, more than that has happened to you, by the way, for some of the things you said. Yeah. I don't know what this is in reply to. Anyways, away from that, let me look at some of the super chats. Thank you, Jazz, for gifting 5 Nigerian Perspective membership. Jazz also said they blatantly deny what we can see with our own eyes and research for ourselves with zero shame. Of course. The bro bonding, giving your child to your bro to become close buddies sounds legit. Yeah, that's what happened with Aisha and Abubakar. It was like, let us become stronger. Let the bond of our friendship become stronger. They're like, how do we make it stronger? I'm going to give you my 6-year-old daughter, and then you're going to consummate the marriage with her when she's 9. That's how we are going to become best bros. That was Muhammad's idea of building bonds. That's not interesting. That's very remarkable. All right, let's look at another one. We have a couple of reports here. I think this is even the mildest. What is it? No, it's not. There are other ones that are more problematic than this one. So this is from Afghanistan, and now we are going to look at this one from Lebanon. Okay, this one is from Lebanon, and this is from Memory TV. This is child marriage in Lebanon, and this is Islamic. Okay, this one they are going to mention Islam. I think they are, but I'm not sure. But I think they are. This is I hope you guys can read the subtitle and I don't have to like read out what is being said. So the lady, of course, as you can see, she's 13.
13 سنة. واللي حدك مين بيكون؟ جوزك موسى.
And look at her. This video is one of this is the least horrible video. I have to state that it is the least horrible video, but it's still horrible and funny. It's funny. It's more funny than horrible in my view, because look at the guy's face. Just look at his face. This guy I think he's 17, so he's not that old, right? He's 17 marrying a 13-year-old, right? And you can see the smile of like, look at me, I am.
موسى قد ايه عمرك؟ 17 سنة. أنت عمرك 13. قديش كان عمرك لما تعرفت على حلا؟
12 سنة.
12 سنة.
ايه.
قديش كان عمرها؟
8 سنين.
8 سنين. طفلة.
So the guy was 17 when he was 12 when he met the lady, and the lady was 8. So 8 and 12, right?
12 سنة و8 سنين
تعرفوا على بعض.
بتعرفوا على بعض ليتزوجوا. ليش قررت تتزوج بعمر انت بعدك طفل؟
لا.
كيف لا؟
لا مش طفل.
You see, this is one thing you need to know about this guy. He's not a child. This is one thing about people in Lebanon, the Muslims in Lebanon, and also the ones in Palestine and other areas. This guy is not he's 17, but he's not a child until a Zionist bomb explodes, right? And he has gone to be with Allah. Until that happens, he is a child. Once that happens, you hear women and children have been killed, including this 17-year-old will be counted as a child. But for the sake of marriage, he's a man. He's a full-fledged man. You understand? But once he's killed in war by a Zionist bomb, like they call it, right? Once his Zionist bomb explodes and he's dead, right? We'll talk. He suddenly becomes a child. Suddenly, you'll be like, these are children, innocent children. Some of them not married, right? Some of them married. Sorry, some of them married. And his bride, who is also no longer a child of 13, once the Zionist bomb explodes and she's gone, she too has become from a woman, she becomes a girl immediately. You understand? That's how it happens in Islam. Very interesting set of people. Very interesting people. See how he's smiling proudly. Look at his face. Shining with so much happiness. Happily married man. Happy and saying, I'm a man. I'm a man, of course. You know, until something happens. And then all of a sudden he's a child.
شو لكن؟
الرجال أكيد.
طفل.
لا رجال.
حلا عمرك 13 سنة. بتحبي تروحي على المدرسة؟
لا.
لا. شو بتحبي؟
بحب كل مرته لموسى.
نعم.
Yeah, she's married. Schooling is for all those ugly girls who are yet to find the right man. Clearly, you can see that she's happily married. You can see the smile on her face. She's happily married. She's 13. School is for unfortunate uglies, right? Who are yet to find handsome 17-year-olds to wed them, right?
بحب موسى.
بتحبي موسى. ما بتحبي المدرسة بس بتحبي موسى.
Doesn't like it, right?
كيف بتراضيها لما تزعل؟
بس تزعل كلمتين حلوين هيك بجيب لها شيء شوكولا أو شيء.
I've never seen this. Is oh God. Are you guys see what I'm saying? Are you? Yeah, as I said, 17 and 13 is not bad, especially if they like each other. It could be worse. It could honestly be. It could, but it's so funny that I just have to laugh at the fact that he said, I say nice things to her and I give her chocolate and candy. I give her sweet. What is there? And of course, yeah, I should, and I would. What you said is very important, and I would. What was I trying to say before I saw that comment? The way he's like, yeah, that's what I do. I give her chocolate, I give her candy, and that's it. That's love. That's love. And we like each other. We are that young. It's fine. But also you need to understand that this wedding or this marriage is arranged, is arranged and sponsored by the parents of these children, because in Islam a prepubescent child cannot consent to marriage. It's the parents that consent. So as much as they are smiling and laughing, it was arranged.
Yeah, بابا شيء.
هي كانت تعرف شيء عن ليلة الدخلة؟ طفلة عمرها 12
But the marriage took place when... Oh, sorry guys, my screen just went off. So the marriage took place when the girl was 12.
تعرف شو ليلة الدخلة؟
أول شيء عمرك
أنت بتعرف شو ليلة الدخلة؟
يعني تزوج ليش ما بعرف يعني.
تعرف. هي كانت تعرف؟
أكيد.
مين خبرها؟ هو. أنت خبرتها؟
أكيد.
بدك تحملي هلا أو بدكم تنطروا شوي؟
هلا ناطرين.
عم تاخذوا احتياطات أو لا؟
لا.
وإذا حبلت؟
حبلت.
If she gets pregnant, Allah knows best. What do you want him to say? Allah knows best. Look, as much as this is lovely and this is looking nice and everybody is looking like, oh, young couples, awesome. Even Anta is like, how I wish this was me when I was 7, right? How I wish I was in Lebanon, and I was a Muslim. I was a Lebanese Muslim, and my parents had just arranged this 12-year-old for me. This would have been wonderful, right? But you should also notice that these people are having sex, no contraceptive, nothing, right? And if she gets pregnant, she gets pregnant. And if you remember when we talked about child marriage in Nigeria, remember what happened to women who get pregnant early? Most of them stand the risk of having, difficult labor, VVF. And when they have VVF, if this lady, if God forbid, where this lady due to her pregnancy, develops VVF, the love, the smile, all of these things would disappear immediately, right? Hopefully they have money to fix that, right? I hope they do. Maybe the money does not end in marriage, which they should. It's not a difficult procedure, not a difficult surgery. It shouldn't be very expensive in Lebanon, I imagine. But if it is, the love is over. No more love. Is when are we going to end this marriage? And another thing you should know about early marriage like this is that they always end in divorce. Most of them. This love that you are seeing, this young couples disappear. It always ends in divorce. I didn't hear that. For you to have to say I never said that is proof that you did say that. If you have to deny it, then it's proof that you said it. That is how you know that I'm saying the truth.
قلتي ما بتحب المدرسة، بتخليها تروح على المدرسة أو ما بتخليها تروح على المدرسة؟ إذا بدها تروح على المدرسة.
أنا بفضل إنه لا تبقى عندي بالبيت.
ليش؟
Why should she go to school? If she wanted to go to school, no. She has to stay at home.
ما بحب أطلع لها هون.
Yeah, it's already
وإذا طلعت شو بصير؟ ليش؟ لما موسى قال لك بده يتجوز طفل، شو كان موقفك أنت كبي؟
هلا هو ما قال لي بدي اتجوز، أنا اللي قلت له.
إيه، أنت اللي قلت له.
So you can see it is not the boy's idea, it is the idea of the father. The father told him, you are a man now, you are to go and get married.
قبل سنتين عرضت عليه الزواج رفض.
قبل سنتين برأيك طفل عمره 14 سنة جاهز للزواج؟
هلا أنا بعرف.
شو يعني؟
بعرف.
شو يعني يكون الطفل شو يعني يكون جاهز للزواج؟
مش طفل هو بال 14 مش طفل يعني.
شو يعني؟
لا ب 16 مش طفل.
He is no longer a child again until a Zionist bomb explodes. We all know how it goes.
أو 15.
بس شو اللي بيخليه جاهز للزواج؟
في مدرستين. المدرسة الأولى اللي هي التعليم. إذا فقدنا هذا التعليم بدنا نلجأ للمدرسة تبع البيت.
Alhamdulillah. That's wisdom from the father. There are two schools for your child of 17. The one is the school that he attends, the worldly school, the fake school, and then there's the real school, which is the home. As I said, I'm proud of you, son. You also married a kid like your mother was. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah to that. That's I'm 100%, in support of that comment, not of the practice anyway. I'm looking for something. Where is that? Why am I? Oh, this is what I'm looking for. Why am the link to my videos hiding whenever I want to bring them out? Okay, here's another interesting story. You guys like this one? This one is perfect. This is Sumaya, Afghanistan.
مكتب میرفتم سنف هفت بودم در روز بیمونده بیده که امتحانا سالانه خوب بودم که برم سنف هشت عروسی که بکردم دگه نگدشتم هرچی که ما گفتم میرم به مکتب میرم امی خصول ما خوشی ما همگی گفتن که اگه تو بری به مکتب ما کارا مارکی میکنم موتور بخریدیم و نمقدارم هم که گفتم میرم مکتب و شومه و خوشومه و همه مرمه زدن که تو نمایی که بری به مکتب بعد
This how old is she? Sorry, I didn't get her age.
ما اسمي سمية بدل ما من الله بمكتب میرفتم سنف هفت بودم در روز بیمونده بیده.
A child in the 7th grade. How old is a child in the 7th grade? We'll have to check that. Peter is saying I should read the translation. I will. But let me check. How old is? Sorry, I'm not used to. What's the grade school and how old is a child in the 12 to 13. So she's old. I mean, by Mohammed's standard, this is an old woman, right? She's old. Well, what's the problem? There's no problem here. This is an old woman, and also she appears like somebody that does protest, too much. She does protest too much. Look at the way she's talking. She sounds like something that's not obedient. This is the kind of bride that's going to be rebellious. The ones you are going to fear rebellion from. Huh? There's something about this lady that's saying, nah, this lady is not obedient. It's not like the lady we just watched. The one we just finished watching, that one looked like a very obedient bride. But this bride looks like a bride that does protest too much. That's not good in Islam. That's not good in Islam. Okay, so I should read. Okay, but then let me read the. She said, my name is Sumaya and my father's name is whatever. I was studying in the 7th grade, but 10 days before my final exam, I was married. What else did she say? I insisted I wanted to go to school, but my in-law said if I went to school, who would do the chores at home? Good question. If you go to school, who would do the chores at home? No one. So she has to do the chores because that's why she was married, to do the chores. Okay. They told me we bought you and we won't let you. So they bought her, or another word is they married her and they will not let her go to school. Why? School is haram, by the way. Anytime I wanted to go to school, my in-laws and my husband would beat me and tell me, you can't go to school. And somebody would be like, is it Islamic to beat, for her to be beaten like that? Well, here's the answer for you. I have the answer, my dear. If you ask that question, I believe you do. You do are asking that question right now, and I have the answer for you. Is this it? Sorry, give me a second. Let me be sure that what I have is the right answer. Not the wrong answer. Yeah, 434. Don't know what. Yep. In case you are wondering if it is okay, Islamic in Islam for the husband and the in-laws to beat her when she refuses to do the house chores because she wants to go to school, here is the answer. Men are in charge of women because Allah had made the one of them to excel the other. And because they spend of their property for the support of women. So good women are obedient, guarding in secret that which Allah had guarded. As for those from whom you fear rebellion, as for those women like Sumaya from whom you fear rebellion, admonish them. Tell them, look, you cannot go to school. You have to do house chores. We didn't bring you here to send you to school. We brought you here to become, a wife and to become obedient and to do the chores. All right. And for those from whom you fear rebellion, admonish them. That's stage 1. Banish them to beds apart. Stage 2. And number 3 is what? Scourge them. Then if they obey you, seek not a way against them. In case you don't know what scourge is, I'm very sure some of you are like, what is scourge? I've never used that word before. Strike them is what Sahih International tells you, in case you don't understand. Then Yusuf Ali is like, beat them slightly. Slightly, you can see that the slightly is what is added. So that's not in the original. They added this slightly to make this verse less horrific. Beat them. In case you still are like, what does strike mean? To strike means to beat. Okay? So scourge them, strike them, beat them. So when Sumaya is being beaten, it's 100% allowed. Nothing wrong. Okay? Her husband is doing the right thing. He has every right under Islam to scourge his disobedient 12-year-old bride. Alhamdulillah. My husband was young and immature, and his parents would encourage him to beat me. So his parents, probably she was 13 and maybe the husband was like maybe 17 or 18 or 19. And they're like, beat her. Beat her. Come on. Beat her. She's disobeying you. She's rebellious. Clearly, you can see that this is a very rebellious woman. With the way she's talking, you can see the rebellion. They're like, beat her. And of course, this is normal. This is what God himself, Allah himself, is like, yeah, this is what we want. This is what we want you, all Muslim, to do.
به هیچ کسی چی نمیگفتم بازم به مو رقم تیر میکرد سواتم این
My
را
in-laws,
میگفتم مم
my in-laws are illiterate, and they said if you go to school, who would do the chores? We've read this before. There was 15 people living in the. Okay, I think I've skipped a little bit. Okay, I haven't. There were 15 people living in the house, shabby house. They are calling your in-laws' house shabby. How dare you? That's why this you see, very rebellious young lady. This is the shabby
از
house.
دونیم لگ بود
Well, I'm
پیشکش
not,
من
who is not. Said my in-laws paid 3,300 as dowry for my family. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. And you better start pushing out babies. That's a whole lot of money.
به دونیم لگ اون
But
خدا
in
شاید
return, God as my
که
witness,
پیان همال
my father spent 4,000 on items for their home. And obviously, this is 4 years ago. When did the Taliban take over Afghanistan? I want to know when. For somebody will blame this on the Taliban. When did the Taliban take over Afghanistan? Oh wow, that's been a very long time. Okay, this is pro Taliban. But the withdrawal, there's when they took over, there's when the US went over there to fight the Taliban, and then there's when they left. And I think they left 3 years ago, but the Taliban took over in like from 1996 to 2001, and this is 4 years. This is like a year before the Taliban took over. So that's the recent takeover. So what is the excuse? Oh, slave of Allah, what is your excuse other than the Quran? And it's like she was married to an Mbise family, because she said the dowry they paid was 3,300 and that her father spent over 4,000. That's when you get married to an Mbise family. They have cheated you. Nigerians who are in the chat know what I mean by getting married to an Mbise family. Let me know explain for that. He bought me gold jewelries, bedding, and clothes. My in-laws kick, hit, and slapped me. But they never whipped me because that would have left marks on my body. Of course. So they are even following like following the Quran, where they say, oh, don't. There are people who say, oh, the Quran said you can beat her but don't leave marks on her body. So they can kick, they can slap, but as long as marks don't show on the body, don't go too severe, don't hit her severely. I don't know if you guys have watched the video that I talked about wife beating in Islam, where I was like, Muhammad said, beat them but not severely. So this is the in-laws obeying the words of Muhammad. And slap me every moment, and they insulted and cursed at me. I lost my childhood. I lost school and going to school, but they wouldn't let me.
حالا چی میخوایی؟
And here's the funny thing. Her husband has said, I don't care that my husband has remarried. I don't want a divorce. Wow. Have you not suffered enough? But I guess in that culture, divorce is seen as a very horrible thing, I guess. I'm willing to go back and live with them if he provides me with a separate space and other things, so I have nothing less than them. This is 8 months later. I said my father went to jail 4 months ago, and after being sentenced to 2 years there.
4 ماه میشه که بندی شده، یعنی 2 سال بندگیری حفظ دادم برای
I am divorced now. Thankfully.
چه همه کردم طلاق رم بگرفتم از خشاخ اینا، اونا هم دارن
My husband and in-laws are living their lives and I'm living mine.
زندگی خور میکنم، من زندگی عادی خور شروع کردم، خیاطی میکنم.
I'm so close with my mom, with my mother and my brothers work. And my brother works in a factory.
مادر یک براری دارم، برار من فعلا به شرکت مایه بره کار میکنه دیگه.
We are the breadwinners now. My father never worked. So you can see in this instance, the father never worked. And I'm very sure the father's idea of providing for his children is to, marry them off.
کسی نیاز ما که مثلا نوار خانه ما فقط مانه، اول خدا بعد از ما برار مینه کلا نمینه، پدر ما کارم نمیکرد. بله فعلا
My life is better, especially now that my father is not here.
بیتر شده.
The man is even the problem in the family.
حالا که پیام نیم خب کل بیتر.
But if the man is around for CNN to do a report, he will tell you how ashamed he is. How, oh my God, you will not believe the horrible decision I had to make. It was really a difficult choice that I had to make. No, many of these men are just irresponsible. That's what they are, irresponsible, nonchalant riffraffs.
شده به خاطر از اینکه پیام میگه به جنگ دعوا میکرد.
My father used to fight with us and take the money we had earned by sewing.
چه میکرد؟
Look, her father is no more now. She can afford a Samsung. That looks like a Samsung. Now she can afford a Samsung. And no more beating.
هم پولی که ما خیاطی کردی از ما میسون. به این واسه
Why is it okay? What kind of culture and law exists that makes the father that kind of person? Islam. That is what it is. Like, he can do that. He can do that because Islam allows him to sell his children, or like they say, marry his children off. So if Islam allows me to do that, what's the need for me to be responsible for these children? Of course not. I should just sell them off. Once I sell them off, I'm no longer responsible for them. So if poverty is the reason why some people are selling their children, what happens when a father is lazy? The father is lazy and just wicked. What happens when that is the case? Is there anything in Islam that stops him from giving his children at whatever age to strange old men for a fee? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. You see, this is what I'm trying to say when I said even if you deal with the economic, situation in places like Afghanistan, you will not still solve other underlying issues like the culture and the religion that promotes this kind of practice. You cannot get rid of that by just giving people money or making their economic situation better, because you are still going to have useless men. Okay? You're still going to have men who don't care about their daughters. You're still going to have men who have a deeply sexist view of women. And those men are going to end up being fathers. And they are going to look at their daughters and be like, I should sell this one off. What's the point? Just staying here, eating my food, living in my house. I have to fend for even this one. What's the point? Mustafa, 95-year-old, do you want to marry this creature here? Go ahead. What is stopping that man from doing that? Absolutely nothing. Imagine a world why people in the West, for example, are like, oh, we have an issue of fatherlessness, right? Because we have absentee fathers, we are turning out horrible. And here in the Middle East, you have children who are like, my life became better when my father got locked up. Is that not interesting? Is that not really interesting? Where you're like, in the West, you're like, we don't have fathers in our society. We are suffering an epidemic of fatherlessness, right? And yeah, these people are like, oh, we are suffering an epidemic of useless fathers. Fathers who are around, but they're just useless.
برانه که بیارم 200 چه 300 چه 100 روپشه می فعلا به می محل ما به می کوچی که ما داریم زندگی میکنه 5 6 تا خیاطیه ایتنی که فقط ما باشیم به خاطر از اینکه ما نادارتریم و ارزونتر میدیزیم برای ما خیلی میارم بیشتر خیاطی پیشمانه.
She has talent. She has potential. Look at that. She's a seamstress. Very talented. Look at. And all of that would have been wasted in a fruitless marriage.
فعلا از مکتب چیزی گفتم چون که تصمیم قطعی ندارم که برم از دار لفاظ دیگه دیپلم خور میگیرم.
Yeah, not just useless, but harmful. Very true. Very true. Very true. Very true. This is almost done. Here's another funny thing. While all of this is happening, she's like, I'm getting tutored in reading the Quran, and I plan to tutor students myself once I'm finished. This problem is not going anywhere. This problem is not going anywhere. She's going to tutor people on reading the Quran, and she's going to read Quran, Surah 65, verse 4. She's going to teach them. This is one of the verses she will teach them to read. This is one of the verses. Is this it? Yeah, this is it. She's going to teach them that for such women as despair of menstruation, if you doubt, their period of waiting shall be 3 months, along with those who have not it, who have it not, or no, have not. I don't even know how to. Let me use Sahih International, Vico. And those who no longer expect menstruation amongst your women, if you doubt, then their period is 3 months. And also for those who have not menstruated. She's going to teach them this one. She's going to read this one to them and teach them about it. She's going to teach them what in the Quran allows for her to go, allowed her father to sell her as a bride at the age of 30. She's going, oh no, this problem is not going anywhere. It's not going anywhere anytime soon. It's not. All right, let's look at one more. Right? Do we have time for one more? I think we do. So let's look at one more. This is in Iraq. This is in Iraq. And Iraq is not like Afghanistan. It's pretty, pretty liberal. So you know the excuse here is not even poverty or anything. It's just culture. Let's start from
كل شيء صمم من قبل الآخرين. صمموا لي حياتي، صمموا لي غرفتي، صمموا لي ملابسي، صمموا لي عدد الأطفال اللي أنا لازم يكونون أطفالي.
I hope the volume from my distance is not making it difficult for you guys to hear my subtitle.
On her 9th birthday, Nadia's family decided she was old enough.
So this one is even better. I mean, this is not that bad. Right? Anta is not that bad. I mean, the man is now 55, 28. It's not that bad. It's not that bad. Come on. It's not that bad.
She agreed to share her story with us, but asked us to disguise her identity.
جتي أمي كانت تقول لي أنتِ باكر عرسك. أي وقت ما تزوجت اللي أعرفه بالحياة
الزوجية. About marriage is that the husband will kiss you and go to sleep. Yeah, that's what happens. That's what Muhammad did when the marriage was consummated with Aisha.
بداخل الغرفة إنه الزوج يبوس وينام. أول ما دخلنا الغرفة.
When we first entered the bedroom, he held my hand and said,
إجا لزم إيدي وكان يقول لي
Listen, you are now my wife.
اسمعي أنت صرتي زوجتي. فإحنا لازم نصلي ركعتين حتى نبقى دائما.
We can stay together forever. You people prayed.
أبد سوا.
That's not good. Very religious.
وما أريد أقول الباقي.
I don't want to say anything else, but.
Right. بس يعني الموقف اللي
What happened was inhumane. It was. I can imagine.
ما بذرة إنسانية يعني بقمة الوحشية.
But beyond violence.
وكم مرة قلت لا.
I said no so many times, but I wasn't heard.
وما انسمعت. لا أنا وقتها.
I hadn't at that time, I hadn't even reached puberty.
كنت بالغة.
And Yeah.
Nadia's wedding was held
That's all. And just cliffhanger.
just after the first Gulf War. Some 30 years on, despite promises of reform and reconstruction.
You see, this is the comment I was looking for. Half as exactly.
The practice is still happening.
Anyway, I know some of you might be hearing some of the things she's saying, and they'll be like, "This is not allowed in Islam. This is not allowed in Islam. Beating your wife and violently." Let me not use the R word before my video will not get monetized. Right? This is not. This is not. This is not. This is not. This is not halal. This is wrong. Islam does not allow this. Maybe you may have Yiddish in the comments saying this is not true in Islam. Okay, if you say so, then let me show you a verse of the Quran. This is Surah 2. Surah 2, verse 223, I believe. 223. Listen to this. You need to hear this. You need to hear this very well. This is the Quran. Your wife or your women are a tilt for you to cultivate. So go to your tilt as you will. Let me read it again. Your women are a tilt for you to cultivate. I don't know what is wrong with my mouse. Your women are a tilt for you to cultivate. So go to your tilt as you will. Sahih International, your wives are a place of sowing of seed for you. So come to your place of cultivation however you wish. Yusuf Ali, your wives are as a tilt unto you. So approach your tilt when or how you will. I mean, if this does not look like a marital rape to you, okay, then I guess it's not. But this is what you find in the perfect speech of Allah. So there is nothing being done here that is un-Islamic. It is perfectly. Oh, where was the video I was reacting to? It's perfectly halal. Okay, halal certified treatment of women. They are your tilt. They are a farmland. Okay, women, according to the Quran, according to the feminism you find in Islam, you are a farmland for your husband to sow his seed. Okay, and he's to plow you however he's to did I just use the word plow? He's to cultivate you however he please, when and how. It does when and how. There is a hadith, right, of Muhammad. He saw there's a hadith of Muhammad. He saw a woman, and then he was aroused by seeing the woman, and then he ran to his wife. I think it's Zainab. Right? I think the wife here is Zainab. He ran to his wife. Why the wife was doing? I forgot what the wife was doing, and had sex with her right there on the spot. And then when he was done, he met his followers and he said, whenever you see that women come in the shape of the devil and whenever they try to entice you, you should run quickly to your wife and do the do with your wife, because the Muslim man is never. It is easy. You see, for Muslim men to have sexual control of their sex, their sexual urges and cravings or whatever it is called, for them to have self-control, for a Muslim man to have self-control, as a Muslim man, you dare to have self-control. That is haram. You understand? As a Muslim, you should not, never, ever imagine yourself having, for what? No. Control yourself for whom? For what? Why? When you have seeds that need to be sown? No. You go in whenever and wherever. Through any method. Go. Allah has given you the thumbs up. So go ahead. So that is why even marital rape is not that's the method he chose. And have you heard of Muhammad's marriage to Sophia after killing her husband? This is the marriage is so annoying on so many levels. You killed the lady's husband. That is after the battle at Kaiba. Killed the husband. Killed the men in the ladies' community. This lady is in serious grief. In fact, Muhammad's followers were scared that Sophia will kill him. But for Muhammad, what he was seeing was a woman to marry. In Islam, as we've read, before you marry a woman, even when the husband dies, you are supposed to wait 3 months. That's the Iddah, or 3 menstrual cycle. Muhammad did not wait 3 months. In fact, the woman was in her menses when the husband was killed. Like she was having her. Immediately the period was over, Muhammad consummated the marriage with her. And you think that consummation was not rape? This is Islam, ladies and gentlemen. This is the religion of sex and sexual depravity.
Today, parts of Baghdad are booming, with glitzy shopping centres marketing Western products. In theory, women here are protected by what was once considered some of the most progressive laws in the Arab world. And yet, since the coalition invasion...
And this is the beautiful thing about this story. This is not Afghanistan. This is not Taliban controlled territory. This is Iraq we are talking about. This is not a country that is so hardcore compared to Afghanistan, compared to Yemen, right? This is not hardcore. You can still find ladies that look look like this. Where is that lady that I saw? You can still find ladies that look like this in Iraq, right? Okay? So what is the excuse now? What is the excuse now?
Arab world. And yet, since the coalition invasion, the number of child marriages has risen.
زواج القاصرات يشكل حاليا نسبة تصل
More than a fifth of all marriages are under the legal age. Wow.
إلى أكثر من 5 حالات الزواج.
Hannah Edway is a prominent activist who says after decades of conflict, state institutions have been left so weakened that tribal traditions are resurfacing.
نتيجة حالات الفقر.
Of course, it is. Every time these people just say poverty, displacement, and migration. Yeah, that's what is driving. That's what is driving child marriage. Of course, it is always that displacement and migration and poverty. That's always what is driving. And I'm very sure Iraq is wealthier than some southern states in Nigeria. But I mean, let's talk about poverty, displacement, and migration.
نتيجة حالات النزوح والتهجير اللي يضطرون الكثير من العوائل.
And this women rights activists and this girl, not people in the Girls Not Bride or whatever, what is the organization called? I admire the work that they are doing, but I feel one of the reasons why they are not making headway. Anyway, I was about to say what I was saying, and then I just thought about it, and I'm like, maybe not, because if they go against Islam, they will not even be allowed to operate in these parts of the world anyway. So, I mean, they are really facing it. It's really it's a very serious war that they are fighting when they are trying to combat child marriage in the Middle East. Because you know the problem is religious, but you cannot say it is religious, because if you do, as an organization, you will not even be allowed to operate in that. You're done. It's over. Everybody will be fighting you. So you have to come at it from economic, social angle. You cannot come at it from a religious angle because then you're going to, annoy the sensitivity of people who otherwise be on your side, So I understand, where some of these organizations find themselves. But honestly, if you ask me, maybe the way to fight this in places like Afghanistan and in places like Iraq is you should have two organizations, right? One organization is Girl No Brides, UNICEF, whatever they call themselves, all these, people that have to, come at this from, it's economical. And then you have people who are like, we are going to critique the religion. And of course, those people who are going to be on the side of critiquing the religion should be ready to, lay down their lives. Okay? Because it's not going to be easy. And I think if you come at it from both angles, maybe you will make headway. Maybe. But what do I know? What do I know? I'm just doing armchair philosophizing over here.
اللي يتخلصون من بناتهم الصغيرات على أساس الحماية للبنت. هذا الموضوع اليوم يحدث وانتشر. أنا أقول ليس فقط في المناطق الريفية وإنما حتى في مراكز المدن.
They're saying this is not only happening in rural communities, but in cities as well, and it's spreading. It's a custom that is spreading.
And the practice is also happening in both Sunni and Shia communities.
Of course, because this is another thing you should know. But both Sunnis and Shias, both school of Islamic law jurisprudence that you find from Sunnis and from Shias, endorse are okay. In fact, in Islamic law, there is no restriction. There's no age restriction for marriage. None whatsoever.
The Al-Faya Girls' School is inside the city, the largest Shia neighborhood in Baghdad, and historically the most politically unstable. A team of community police officers have arrived at the school to deliver an unusual lesson.
احنا اليوم قضيتنا اللي هي قضية أساسية انتشرت بالمجتمع العراقي هي الزواج خارج المحاكم وزواج القاصرات. المادة 10 من الفقرة الخامسة تقول لا، قانون الأحوال الشخصية العراقي يحبس الزوج عنده عقد المحكمة الخارجي، بس هاي قاصر خارج المحكمة مدة لا تقل عن 6 أشهر.
This is the funny thing. There's even prison sentence for those who engage in this practice in Iraq. The law states that any person who marries a minor will spend a year in prison. Anyway, a year is not even enough to deter this kind of things from happening. But you see, those who is going to spend a year?
وزواج القاصرات.
Which is nice.
المادة 10 الفقرة الخامسة تقول لا، قانون الأحوال الشخصية العراقي يحبس الزوج مدة لا تقل عن 6
in prison for up to a year if he marries a minor.
ولا تزيد عن سنة مع غرامة مالية. زين.
But the girls are having none of it.
So this is despite the fact that you even have laws in place. The political authorities are trying to combat this. Even under that circumstance, you still have child marriage existing and spreading. And the law cannot even do much to stop it.
They challenge the officer on why having a law isn't enough.
حتى القانون ما جاي يطبق. لا موجود، بس احنا شو وقت نلتجئ لما تصير المشاكل.
زين ليش هو يعقد؟
Why did the clerics perform the marriage? They said no one can force a child. She can always say no in front of the sheikh. That is not what Islam stipulates. If you are not yet menstruating as a child, your parents can consent for you. Okay, it's only a child that is menstruating that can consent, that her consent is required in marriage. If you are prepubescent, your parents will consent for you. Okay, so once your parents consent for you, saying no in front of a sheikh is not going to stop what is about to happen from happening. Exactly. You see, even the child, the girls know. You see, Miss, she's a minor. She can't say no. She can't say no. The Muslim woman is trying to teach the girl, no, you can say no to the sheikh. And she's like, no, if she's a minor, she can't say no. This lady knows more about Sharia than this woman. Like, no, I know Sharia law. She can't say no. And she's right. If she's a minor, if she's prepubescent, she cannot say no.
And it's the power of those religious clerics that many blame for the practice.
Finally, I would drink to that. Finally, somebody has said something close to recognizing what the problem is. the religious clerics that perform the marriage, right? The imams and the sheikhs. I know. The Sheikh Frank knows. They do not drink. Didn't even mention Islam. No, of course, it's pastors that are the clerics in question are pastors. Sorry. Who am I? Who am I to come to conclusion? Yeah, it could be monks. Monks are the ones, or Buddhist what do they call their clerics? Let me even check. Who knows? Buddhist. What are they called? They are called Sangha. Interesting. I thought they were called monks. Male and female monks. Yeah. See, I'm correct. It's the monks. The monks are the ones that are conducting this marriage. 100%.
We showed Nadia's story to Sheikh Mustafa and asked him to clarify the religious position on marrying minors.
Yeah, see, Mustafa is about to lie. Just watch Mustafa.
ما لم تبلغ البنت الحلم لا يصح تزويجها. الموضوع لا يرتبط.
This is a very, and I told you that cleric is about to lie. He's about to lie, and he just went ahead and delivered.
ما لم تبلغ البنت.
A girl cannot be married off if she hasn't reached puberty. In case we have forgotten, let us look at the tafsirs on Surah 65 verse 4. This is from Al-Wahidi. When the verse, women who are divorced shall wait, keep themselves apart. This person said, O Messenger of Allah, what is the waiting period of women who do not menstruate and women who have not menstruated yet? And what is the waiting period of pregnant women? And so Allah exalted is He revealed this verse. And what is the verse in question? Surah 65 verse 4 that provides the Iddah period for menopausal women and prepubescent girls. So he's explaining that when it was revealed, someone was asking, O Messenger of Allah, what is the waiting period for old women and what is the waiting period for girls who have not yet menstruated? Right? And here's another person narrating in the hadith again, giving another narration. When the waiting period for divorced and widowed women was mentioned in Surah Al-Baqarah, Ubay ibn Ka'b said, Messenger of Allah, some women of Medina are saying, there are other women who have not been mentioned. He asked him, who are they? Who are the women that have not been mentioned? He said, those who are too young, such that they have not started menstruating yet, those who are too old, whose menstruation has stopped, and those who are pregnant. And thus, this verse, Surah 65 verse 4, was revealed. That's Al-Wahidi. Let's look at Ibn Abbas. All right. As for such women as despair of menstruation because of old age, if you doubt about their waiting period shall be 3 months, upon which asked another man, O Messenger of Allah, what about the waiting period of those who do not have menstruation because they are too old, along with those who have it not because of young age? What is their waiting period? Their waiting period is 3 months. So there is a waiting period for those who are what? Prepubescent. So Allah in His infinite wisdom is saying you can get married, consummate, and divorce. Like I said earlier, you can get married in Islam, you can get married, consummate the marriage, and divorce a girl while she is still prepubescent. Let's look at Al-Jalalain. As for some of the women, as despair of menstruation, that is because of old age, these are women who are no longer menstruating. If you doubt about their waiting period, their period of waiting shall be 3 months, upon which another man asked, O Messenger of Allah, I think I've read this, but I'll read it again. What about the waiting period of those who do not menstruate because they are too young? I think is this the one I just read? I thought I was reading Ibn Abbas. Now it looks like what I read was. Well, it's technically the same thing. They are all the commentaries are saying the same thing about the verse. All the commentaries are saying exactly the same thing about Surah 65 verse 4, that prescribe a waiting period and Iddah for prepubescent girls. What is, in case those of us who were not with us at the beginning of the live stream, Iddah is the waiting period a woman has to observe between the end of her first marriage and the marriage and the beginning of her second marriage. So let's say a woman has been divorced. In Islam, you're not immediately to enter into another marriage. You are to wait. And for a regular woman, a woman who is, regular women who are just who are menstruating, the waiting period is 3 menstrual cycles. 3. That's the waiting period. But for women who are no longer menstruating, the waiting period is 3 months. And for prepubescent girls, the waiting period is also 3 months. That's what Surah 65 verse 4 prescribes. It prescribes a waiting period for prepubescent girls. And that is all you need to see that the Quran is not condemning child marriage. Instead, it's saying, look, you can go ahead and marry a child and divorce that child even before the child, sees her first period. And then there is the marriage of the Prophet there's the marriage of the Prophet to Aisha. Look at what Imam Bukhari had to say about it in the Hadith chapter. Giving one's young child in marriage is permissible. That's what this chapter of his Hadith collection is titled. What's the title of the chapter? Giving one's young child in marriage is permissible. And where is this? Where is he basing this from? By virtue of the statement of Allah, and those who have no monthly courses, i.e., they are still immature, which is found in Surah 65 verse 4. And the Iddah for the girls before puberty is 3 months. See the verse above. And then to support his stance, what does he mention? The marriage of the Prophet to Aisha. Narrated Aisha that the Prophet wrote the marriage contract with her when she was 6 years old, and he consummated his marriage when she was 9 years old, and she remained with him for 9 years, i.e. till his death. That is till his death. I don't know why it's this. I say i.e. instead of that is. Anyways, bad habit. So that is it. That is it, guys. That is it. That is just it when it has to do with child marriage in Islam. So everything this man just said in this in the first few statements that just came out of his mouth, that a girl cannot be married off if she hasn't reached puberty, is a lie.
الحلم لا يصح تزويجها. الموضوع لا يرتبط بالعمر بقدر ما.
This one is the issue is not related to age as much as it is related to readiness. Okay?
أننا نربط الموضوع بالكفاءة فالحاكم هو بلوغ البنت.
But the lie here is that the threshold is puberty. That's a lie. You are saying it because Channel 4 News is pointing the camera at you.
ومتى ما كانت مؤهلة للزواج كفؤ للزوج آنذاك تتزوج.
Then when she's fit for marriage and worthy of a marriage, she must marry. When she's fit for marriage and worthy of a husband, this one is a true statement, and I want us to read it carefully. When she's fit for marriage and worthy of a husband, she must marry.
متى ما كانت مؤهلة للزواج كفؤ للزوج آنذاك.
And by fit for marriage, we have seen in the Quran what fit for marriage looks like. So,
تتزوج.
Far from the promise of progress, campaigners say women's rights are steadily being eroded.
But remember that Muhammad is a feminist, and Islam has done more to liberate women than any other religion in the world. Keep that in mind.
2 years ago, the government tried to introduce a bill that would have lowered the legal marriage age from 18 to 9. Although it was defeated, it may be reintroduced. Introduce a bill that would have lowered the legal marriage age from 18 to 9.
So they are, even in the legislation, they are trying to reduce the legal age of marriage from 18 to 9 in Iraq. Alhamdulillah. That's all I can say. Alhamdulillah.
Although it was defeated, it may be reintroduced.
نريد نختصر المشهد ونقول عندها حق بالعمل، عندها حق بالمشاركة في الحياة، عندها حق الكرامة، عندها حق.
Activist Jumana Mumtaz has launched a campaign calling for greater protection for women's rights.
المرأة ما تعرف حقوقها، ما تعرف حقها.
And as you can see, people that are campaigning for women's rights, you can see that they are not wearing hijab. But of course, Islam is what is going to liberate women.
المجتمع ما تعرف ان القانون ممكن يكون يوقف وياها، اكو منظمات توقف وياها، بس بنفس الوقت اكو شيء اجتماعي متفق عليه انه عيب نحكي بهذه المشاكل وعيب نتحدث عن مشاكلنا الحساسة. هي تميل للصمت، تسكت، بالنتيجة تتأذى وتتألم أكثر.
By the time Nadia was 13, she had 2 children. Many years later, she finally managed to escape her marriage and is now settled in England. She's horrified.
Don't worry, Nadia, you need to move from England to the United States because that thing you left from that thing that made you leave Iraq is coming straight to England. So you might want to leave right now, move to maybe the United States because the thing you left in Iraq is already in England, unfortunately. Okay?
Horrified that the practice is still happening to girls in Iraq today and wanted to speak out against it.
يعني أنا من أشوف يعني أي طفلة بعمر اللي أنا تزوجت فيه أتذكر إنه أنا لمست هنا وأنا هنا اغتصبت وأنا هنا شعري انقص، فأنا ما أتمنى لأي بنية تمر بهذا الألم.
عندكم حلول لهيك شيء يعني مثلا تقدموا لنا اياها مثلا مقترح او فكره تقدموها شنو الحل برايكم؟
حلان لا غير، اولا توعيه الاهل وتوعيه البنت هي بالاساس، الحل الثاني اجبار الشيوخ على
the religious clerics not to carry out the marriage. Good luck. Good luck with forcing. It's like you really want something to happen. You really want something to happen in your society. Good luck with that.
هذه الحاله كليا.
يعني والاجتماعي شوف يتفهمني خصوصا بهذا العصر.
احنا نتمنى هاي الظاهرة
We wish for this practice to end immediately.
تنتهي بأسرع وقت، لأن استنزفت
المجتمع. Our society, especially our girls.
واستنزفتنا كبنات وإحنا تواجهنا شخصيا لأنه
affects us directly. It is our reality.
هذا الشيء له علاقة بينا كبنات.
Now is a war against our freedom and our voice. The funny thing is that these people now, if these women make it to, if people like this now make it to America, the next thing is that they are pro Sharia. That's just something so miraculous about Islam. It's how you see somebody like this now. She's in Iraq. She's like, no, this is bad. This needs to stop. This is horrible. This is whatever. This is affecting us. This is taking our voice, our freedom. You see her in the United States, fist in the air, calling for it, fighting Islamophobia. Or maybe it's just their counterparts in the US who are like that. Maybe they are not like that. Hopefully. I don't know.
يؤدي إلى تراجع. إحنا نتمنى تطبيق القانون بأسرع وقت حتى نبني مجتمع أفضل وإنه تكون أقل شيء للبنية حرية رأي بخصوص الزواج.
And of course, they are going to capture the eyes of the ladies. Like, look at what is, look at the eyes, look at the sorrow in the eyes. And of course, I feel for these ladies. It's not really their fault. Like, it's the society where they find themselves in. It's tragic. It happens. And I wish the world was a better place, but it isn't. We are only hoping for the best. Guys, I don't want to go too far with this. Let's draw the curtain here. And I want to appreciate Jazz. You've done well. Like, you've done abundantly well. You've done. Why is this? Can you imagine? What you've done is not showing in. Let me just highlight it. Right. Thank you for the 20 gifted Nigerian Perspective membership. Thank you for the other 5 that you gifted. I really, really appreciate that. And we've come to the end. We've come to the end of this. Let's not watch one more video before I'm like, hey, Chimwanya. Well, like, hey, Chimwanya, look at what they are doing to these girls. And guys, so this is Islamic marriage for you. This is what you find in the Middle East. I remember when I showed you what's happening in Nigeria. Nigeria's issue is even way worse than this, because these women go through a lot. The lady in this video, that's the lady at the beginning of the video we just saw, the last video we just saw, was married at the age of 9. And she said by 13, she has had 2 children. 2 children by 13. Imagine that. That is Islamic child marriage for you. And as we've seen from the Quran, there is nothing preventing this in the Quran. Instead, we have the opposite. That's all I want to say about child marriage this night. I want one thing, if there's anything you guys have learned, it's why child marriage exists in Islam, and why you find it in certain societies. And one other thing that is important when we talk about child marriage in Islam is that it's not something that happened in the past. People like Yedish, who is no longer with us, I wonder where she went to. I wish she was still here, because I want to see what her reaction would be to something like this, right? People like Yedish, when you talk about child marriage in the Quran, they always say, oh, it's something that happened in the past. It's something that happened in the past. It's something that happened in the past, right? Over and over again. But as we have seen, it's not a thing of the past, especially in countries where Islamic law is being applied, where Islamic law has created a culture, right? So that is what we are dealing with, guys, and that is the truth of the matter. And I'm to everyone. I'm grateful to Sash. I'm grateful to Jazz. I'm grateful to Shayna. I didn't see Can You Not a lot in the comments, but I'm grateful to her as well. And I appreciate everyone that tuned in live. I'm grateful to my gratitude extends to those who who gifted memberships and who made super chats, like Alidawa's Grapes, King of Currents, and Can You Not, and Jazz as well. I don't know if I've mentioned that already, but it needs to be mentioned again. I really appreciate you guys. Today's turnout was not as we used to have, but it's fine. It's fine. Some days are like that. And I appreciate all of you for being here. I appreciate all of you for being here. And since I have nothing more to say, have a blessed, before I leave, Michael Friedman is like, I need to drop this. Thank you, Michael. So you're a good man, Frank. Thank you for speaking up about this. Well, it needs to be done. It needs to be done. Needs to be done. Needs to be done. And I also want to thank Anta for being with us. Maybe the next time I talk about something like this, I will bring he'll be with us live. I will talk about it. He'll be with us live, instead of just being in the comments. I want to see what he will have to say about some of these things. All right, so that's all we have to say. And until my next live stream, peace.